me first and last of what God made, and that's the truth. But man, keep on trying to hold me back while another chicken head come home to lose. Too strong, try to do me wrong, and the last one standing will order and command you to dance. Oh, dance.
What tell your preacher and your teacher? I'ma give what you love. I got to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. Give you what you love. Give you some love. Yeah, baby. I said I take your time. Take what you love, baby, just enough. But never too much, baby, take your time. Take what you love and work that baby cry. You better look at that, baby. Take your time. Take what you love, baby, just enough. But never too much, baby, take your time. Give me some love. Won't you give me what you love?
Well, good afternoon. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice or seeing my happy little face on this very brisky Monday morning on November 23rd, 2020, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Listen, there's kind of like a delay between the time that I'm talking and what I'm seeing on the air, so it's throwing me off. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to fix it as we move along, but life has to keep going. It is Monday. And as usual, Mother was scouring the news, trying to figure out what I had needed to share with you. And so before I get started, I want to wish, and she did not know that I'm going to do this, right? So I try to surprise people along the way. Carrie Connor Matchett is having a birthday today. Happy birthday, love bug. Carrie is living with metastasized breast cancer, and she shows up every day in the best and brightest and fullest way that she possibly can. If you are friends with her on social media, particularly on Facebook, you will see that she has some great pictures. They're looking like she's in all pink with her Wakanda sword. And so, Carrie, I hope, my dear, that you have a life and a day, not a life, a day today, because it's your special day. We were born filled with grace and love and wonder, and that you continue to appreciate and find gratitude in even the smallest of things, even as you're constantly in pain, as you were talking about this morning on your social media pages. And so this leads me into what I have to talk about next. Carrie is a great example of living despite all the odds that are thrown against her. And this happens all the time in African-American communities, particularly when we go to the doctor and we're being seen. So I have to talk about this today. And I know you all get a little bit tired of me saying, but you know, Mother doesn't care. I'm trying to really make sure that we live our very best lives. This morning at around 2 o'clock, I saw a piece that Anderson Cooper did for 60 Minutes about people who, the thousands and thousands of people who contracted COVID-19 did not die from it, and in fact did not even have to go to the hospital for the virus, right? So they got it, they had a mild version of it. In some cases, they had very little to no symptoms at all. And then all of a sudden, after getting over the virus, quote unquote, many of them since March of this year, so we're talking 6, 7, 8 months later, they're having these symptoms like brain bleeds, clots in their lungs, their liver, their heart, amazing like headaches that they can't explain. One lady who was an avid marathon runner, black sister, said that she got up one day and her legs just stopped working, right? And she went to the doctor, had an MRI done, went to the hospital, and the doctor literally looked at her and said, it's got to be all in your brain because we can find nothing wrong with you. And so here's the thing. Sloan Kettering in New York City is doing a study now on these thousands and thousands of people who have recovered, quote unquote, from COVID, but continue to have major issues. Brain fog is one of them. You know, having the simplest of conversations, something that they would take for granted every day. They can't remember the simple things, right? And so I say this to tell you all of this. Thanksgiving is on Thursday of this week, right? It is now Monday. even though the American Medical Association have gotten online, and the FDA and everybody is telling us, please do not travel. Do not travel for this Thanksgiving. Stay home and do Zoom. We're all going to do Zoom. Mother seasoned up her turkey, her whole turkey this morning, and I seasoned up my meats, my beef, and my pork 2 days ago. So, Jamaican in me, everything has to be marinated a few days. Today, after I get off the air, I'm going to make my black cakes. And so I'm trying to find, the simple things that would keep me happy, even though I know my children are not going to be here. I won't be able to see my siblings. And I'm asking you to do the same thing. They're saying that even if you're able to get a COVID-19 test done so you can go home, you might not even know what your results are. And they're asking people to just not go. Stay in with the tribe where you are. If you're at college, stay there. So that's the part of it. And so let me see if I can open this, if it'll open it for me. The health commissioner says that the coronavirus is surging in Philadelphia. Take that off. That's Dr. Ayla. The Philadelphia health commissioner, and so this was from the Philadelphia Tribune, Ayanna Jones, Tribune staff writer. Was written a few days ago. The Philadelphia Health Commissioner, Dr. Tom Farley, warned Thursday that the city is experiencing a dangerous period in the coronavirus epidemic. Our overall message now is that the epidemic is surging, he said during a virtual news conference. What was once safe is now dangerous with the change of weather. So we are starting to see the severe outcomes that we worried most about. This possibly is the worst period of the epidemic. That's why we put in place the strict restrictions we announced on Monday. So I'm asking all of you to just really pay attention. I had to run into the Jamaican store to get some fresh thyme. And Jamaicans, y'all don't know anything about 6 feet. I kept having to turn around and say, can you back it up, please? So when you know you have to go into spaces, if you can not avoid it, not only wear your mask, but wear a face shield too, right? Make sure your eyes and your face are covered, because some people just don't pay attention to what needs to be to be happening. I have a very full show lineup for you today, and I'm super excited about all of that and what that's going to mean as I give you more stuff. We have the Comcast Education Hour segment. Looking forward to that. A great group of people are going to be on, including the young gentleman from Black and Mobile. All the time I'm talking to you guys about making sure that you find ways to elevate and levitate what you're doing beyond fussing and complaining, and this is what we're getting ready to do. So I'm excited about that. Reverend Joe, how are you, sir? Happy Monday.
Well, Sam, I called you to wish you and your hubby a happy Thanksgiving, and to tell you I'm a witness to his wife. My sister and her daughter, which would be my niece, back in March, died they got sick all of a sudden, died. My sister died the next day. So it's a very serious disease. It's a sad time for our family. But also, I want to say, little Tyrone, I love that, the way you sing that song to him. He's delivering food to people and clothes and a lot of stuff. So keep him on your prayer list. I hope he's safe. Keep himself safe.
Okay. So Tyrone delivered food and clothing to people over the weekend?
Yes, he did. He won't tell you. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling on him.
Oh, that's why y'all got to call my Tyrone. Call him.
Yeah, amen. All right, will you keep us on your prayer list, because I got you on mine.
Yes, sir. And my condolences to you. I remember you were telling me about your sister and your niece. And I know it's a sad time. I want people to realize that this hits much closer to home than they'd like to talk about.
Yes.
And that we have got to be better about this, right? All right.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving, Reverend Joe. All right. So here's the other part about COVID-19 that no one's talking about. Same show, 60 Minutes, that I was watching. Due to COVID, 240,000 students are unaccounted for since schools went virtual. And I reached out to a contact that I have at where am I going with this? Here it is, at the Philadelphia School District, once I watched this piece, because here they were saying in this town in Florida, 7,000 students were missing, right? They didn't show up for class, they're not checking in, and so the social worker was going out looking for them, and only to find out that a lot of them were displaced because their parents had lost their jobs. Oftentimes they were in single-parent homes, and sometimes it was the grandparents that were taking care of them. Many of these students found themselves in motels, right? And the moratorium on, not having to pay rent is about to end for them. They're not quite sure what they're going to do. The story highlighted one particular young lady who was a senior, and she was in a motel room with her mother, her two siblings, and her stepfather. They're in one room trying to make it do. And she said she just had to tell herself that as difficult as it was, she was going to make it through and finish high school so that she could go on to junior college. These are the things that we take for granted. So I reached out to someone at the Philadelphia School District, and I said, does the Philadelphia School District have in place if a child has not checked in? And it says here that social workers from the district begin visiting homes at the start of the year to locate students who were not engaged. Counselors, attendance coaches, and other climate staff also did outreach to engage students. And the Office of Family and Children provided truancy case managers who did home visits for students missing three unexcused days in 90 of our schools. And so, I just want to make sure if you see a child is out there playing in the street and you ask them if they're in school and they're not, don't call the school district to get the parent in trouble. Reach out to the parent and ask, how can you support and help, right? They may not have Wi-Fi. They may not have access to the computers, because the same young lady that was being interviewed said this, that she was doing her schoolwork. She was going online, virtual learning with her phone. She didn't have access to a computer. So all the things that we're taking for granted, I just want you to know that there are folks out here really trying to make it do what it does. And so of the 7,000 missing students, so if there's 240,000 students that are unaccounted for, and I'm sure there's more because they decided to try and follow, what was going on, the pattern around the country, what does that mean for a child's education when COVID no longer is, at the high level that it is? And how much schooling are these children missing? And what does that mean for them? Lots of the children that were not in school were kindergarten to second grade. Critical, pivotal years for a young child. And so we just really want to, pay attention to that. And if we can help as much as we can, if we can help young people, then that's what we have to do. Other thing I want to talk about before we go to break. Now listen. Will Smith and Janet Hubert, otherwise known as Aunt Viv, there was a reunion for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And in order for them to do the reunion, Will Smith said that he felt like he had to have a conversation with Janet Hubert because, as you all know, Janet Hubert has spent the last 27 years being absolutely annoyed by the fact that she thought Will Smith destroyed her life by using his power and his wealth and his influence to destroy her. Will sat down with her, and the conversation was one that was heartwarming for me because he absolutely acknowledged his role that he played in it. He absolutely acknowledged that he said some things behind closed doors and let it go, and people just took it and ran with it. And because he was who he was, and because he he liked being liked, and he didn't like the fact that she wasn't laughing at his jokes, and he had all sorts of mommy and daddy issues that he felt like, she didn't like him, so he wanted her gone. He was 21 years old. He acknowledged that. What was frightening to me, as I watched, I put the Red Table Talk that he did right after that on my page, and I said, tell me what your thoughts are. And everybody kept saying they're glad that he listened, but they were still upset with Janet Hubert. She didn't own her part, they said. And so I want to challenge all of you who are looking at from the outside in and saw what you thought was bitterness and anger, because a lot of it was that, right? But here was a woman who went to Juilliard. She was 34 years old. She took her craft seriously. Dark-skinned woman in Hollywood. So in order for her to get a coveted role, it is one that she would want to hold on to and not blow, right? In comes this 21-year-old, as we would say in Jamaica, a piss and tail, who just, was feeling himself. And that's why maturity is so important, right? Feeling himself, and he was cracking jokes, and he wasn't being serious. And she was just like, plus she had a situation going on in her home at the time, just had a newborn baby. And because they couldn't get along, because they couldn't get a meeting of the minds, they then told her that they were cutting her role, and she told them no, she was not accepting that, and she walked away. And so her life imploded as a direct result. And so I want to say this to you. We all, at some point, I have 3 sisters, and with those 3 sisters, every Sunday we talk. We get online, and a video conference call, and we talk to one another, and we talk about our childhood, and we talk about our mommy and daddy traumas. Because here's the deal, man. No matter where you grew up, no matter what house you grew up in, all of us have some level of mommy and daddy trauma where we didn't think mommy or daddy said or did certain things, or mommy or daddy didn't do, and we felt blah, 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 blah. The good news for my siblings and I is that we talk it out. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Our parents, when they give birth to us, are not, none of us have a map about what parenting is like. You are going to make mistakes, and if you don't believe me, wait until your children grow old enough to come and sit you down and tell you about an infraction that you didn't even know you did how many years ago. And so Will Smith was carrying that. His father was abusive to his mother, he said, allegedly, and the mother was dealing with the things, and he just started cracking jokes because he wanted everybody to like him, and he stayed stunted in that age. Even though he grew in age, he stayed stunted in his mind in terms of maturity. And if you watch Will Smith today, he still does a lot of that stuff where he's all over the place, he's super hype, he can't sit still, and he says the only person that he's had a really good relationship that was a woman is his daughter, right? Willow. So we carry these things into adulthood if we don't take the time to do the work for healing. It was so interesting to me that I wrote an article. So my piece, my Ask Mother, Divine Mother Diva article in the Sunday Sun this week is about that, right? That leadership, that our words can harm or our words can heal. And when we have the influence and the power, we have to be super mindful about how we use them to harm or to heal, right? So this is good stuff. All right, you are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Internet Essentials from Comcast, high-speed home internet for low-income families for just $9.95 per month. Visit InternetEssentials.com to learn more.
Did you get an eviction notice before the shutdown? Are you looking for a lawyer once the moratorium ends? There's so many questions with so little time. Let Equally Informed Philly find the answers for you. Just text the phrase Equal Info to the number 73224. Again, that's Equal Info, one word, to 73224. Their community information line will get the answers you need to survive in the time of COVID-19. Equally Informed Philly for all Philadelphians.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Good afternoon to all of you who are over on social media, on Facebook, sending me loves and greetings and all the good stuff. I see all of you. Thank you so much. Idris says he's still recovering from his bike accident and don't expect to go back to work until after the holidays. Listen, man, take good care of yourself. Wear your mask, have some good food, and, you know, make sure that your diet is commensurate with your exercising, because you already know it's so easy to gain the weight and so hard to take it off. Anyway, thank you for checking in. Listen, we have a public relations associate from Philabundance on the line, Samantha Bretamar. In 1984, Philabundance was founded by an idealist named Pamela Rainey Lawler, who saw perfectly good food going to waste and at the same time saw people going hungry. What started out as a small food rescue organization operating out of a Subaru 30-plus years later is an innovative, impactful, and collaborative organization distributing more than 24 million pounds of food each year to those in need. Philabundance is a proud member of Feeding America, a nationwide network of food banks leading the fight against hunger in the United States. Ms. Retamar, are you there?
Hi. Yes, I'm here. How are you guys?
I am good. Thank you for joining us on The Source. Did I say your name properly?
Yes, you did. Samantha Redemar.
Well. I'm telling you, my hooked on phonics just continues to work for me. So I was very interested in talking to you because I saw something on the news last week where Philabundance was just, your CEO, was talking about the massive need now for food. Can you describe what's going on and what Philabundance is doing about it?
For sure. Well, first off, thank you for having me on air and helping us spread the word about food insecurity and hunger in our area. Right now, with the pandemic, we're seeing about a 60% increase in need of people needing food and accessing our network of agencies. And of that 60%, about 40% of people are navigating the safety net system for the first time. These are people who've never had to utilize food banks before, but because of the pandemic, job loss, or having kids home from school who used to rely on breakfast and lunch at school, those types of things have really exacerbated the hunger in our area. And so we're just seeing such a major increase in need.
So, Lord, All right, so let me start here. How can people donate to Fill Abundance? Are you taking donations, or how does your donations get to you?
Yeah, sure. So there's several ways that people can help us out. So we have, first and foremost, the most important and the biggest way to help us out is through monetary donations. And that reason is because Fill Abundance has a bigger buying power than the average person. And so if you were to buy us 1 can of beans, the money that you spent on that 1 can of beans, you could have donated to Fill Abundance, and we could buy about 3 cans of beans. And so we have just a bigger buying power because of our partners with different grocery stores and wholesalers. And so definitely, if you're looking to donate, visit philabundance.org, and there's donation links everywhere for you to donate. If you want to donate on a different level, we have such things called a virtual food drive. And so in our new virtual world, with everything being pretty much online or on the computer, we have a way for you to go on philabundance.org, and you can host a food drive. You can connect on Facebook or Twitter, whatever social media platform, and engage your friends to donate online. And it's like food shopping online. So you get to pick from our most needed items like peanut butter, pasta, cooking oil, things that you wouldn't really think people need, but cooking oil is very expensive and sometimes too expensive for people to buy when you need to cook. And so there's a big list of things that people can buy, things like perishable items like produce or meat, where you typically can't buy that or donate that from a regular food drive. So that's a really, really great way to get involved and also be socially distanced if you are looking to help out and away from your home. And then the last way to help out would be to bring in-person food drive donations. And so we do accept food drive donations. We have a list of most needed items on our website. So once again, things like pasta, pasta sauce, cereal, shelf-stable milk, rice. Those are just big things that help people get through winter and get through the hard months. Because you get to cook them and they last a bit longer. And then also volunteering. So volunteering is always a great way to help out.
Okay. And so in these COVID times, what's the best way for them to volunteer, and what are the safety measures that's put in place for that?
So volunteering has been changed drastically. We used to have about 40 people in a volunteer shift, and now we've narrowed that down to about 15 people. And so we have everything socially distanced, all the markings on the floor. If you come into our warehouse, you have to get temperature checks, and we have a questionnaire to ask you about COVID. Have you been exposed? Have you been out in the last ever so many days? And so we are really, really clear about wearing masks and sanitizing our entire warehouse, wearing gloves. So it's a very, very safe way to volunteer, but we understand not everyone can volunteer because if you may be immunocompromised or elderly, we ask that you stay home, and we just want to ensure that anyone coming to volunteer is healthy and ready to go and knows that right now we need it more than ever because we slashed our volunteer shifts more than half, yet the need has increased by more than double. So it's kind of a big time for us.
Right. So I have a thought. If we can, I love the idea of the virtual food drive, and many of us, I am praying, Samantha, that when I turn on my television on Friday, we don't see a bunch of people stocked up in Walmart with COVID around trying to get the latest sale, right? I'm hoping that people practice common sense as the COVID numbers are surging. But here's the idea that I have. Instead of folks going out to shop, that we do a virtual food drive in our social media spaces. I think I'm going to do one on Friday, right? And then invite my friends to donate to Full Abundance. You see, every little bit counts, and it helps. And with a 60% increase, that is untenable. My goodness.
Oh, my goodness. It's crazy to see the 60% increase, but as well as a lot of people who have never had to utilize a food bank before. There's some people who, sadly, are not new to this system because Philadelphia is known as, quote, unquote, the poorest big city in the country.
Yes.
So you throw a global pandemic into the mix and add school issues and unemployment. It's just hunger is skyrocketing. And right now, Philadelphia, being the city it is, the city of brotherly love, I love seeing how people are coming together to really try and fight hunger and make sure that nobody goes hungry, no neighbor goes hungry in our area.
Right. So if you are someone who has never applied to Fill Abundance to get help, walk them through the process for me, please. Tell them what they would need to do and how, folks they're hungry, but they want to also maintain their privacy and maintain their dignity too. So walk me through the process of how they can get what they need from you without feeling like they're begging.
Of course. And so one thing that I love about Fill Abundance is ever since I started working here, and like you mentioned, our founder, Pamela Rainey Lawler, she's always instilled that we want to give people food in a respectful manner. No one should ever feel like denegated and feel so bad about needing something as simple as food, a necessity. And so with Fill Abundance, we work through a network of 350 agencies. Those are houses of worship, soup kitchens, emergency kitchens, food pantries, things of the like. And so if you go to philabundance.org, there's a map called the Find Food Map, and you can put your zip code in. And in your zip code, it'll show you all of our food resources in your area. So you'll find food pantries, soup kitchens, whatever you're looking for, and you can give them a call to see what food pantries are open on what days and what times, because all food pantries are different. They may operate twice a week or once a week or once a month, and so everybody's very, very different. But giving them a call beforehand also, because COVID has definitely shifted the way we give food out. Typically, if you would go to a Fill Abundance pantry, we typically have a choice model where you go and you kind of go food shopping in a way. You can pick from your perishables, your non-perishables, but now because of COVID, many of our agencies are doing what's called grab-and-go style, where they fill a box with all the necessary items of produce, dairy, meat, whatever's available, and give it out. Everyone gets the same thing as opposed to being able to choose and kind of shop around to make sure that everyone's safe with COVID. But when you go to any Fill Abundance agency, many of them do not require ID. Some of them may ask you if you're from that county. For example, if you go to an agency in Bucks County, they may ask you, hey, are you a resident of Bucks County? But that's as far as it'll go. They will not ask you many more questions for your privacy, as well as to respect what you're going through and what's going on right now, because we understand that food insecurity has a lot of stigma around it, and the last thing we want to do is cause trouble or cause any more excess stress to somebody who's already trying to navigate the system that is already so complex to navigate.
So you're removing the barriers that would stop folks from coming in. That's
of course. Yes.
So I love that.
Making sure that people have food and know that whatever you need, Fill Abundance is here to provide you food. No one should go hungry in our area.
I love that you said this, that we're supposed to give food in a respectful manner, that there are a network of 350 agencies. So all you have to do is go to philabundance.org, put your zip code in, and you will see the closest place to you. So you don't have to travel all over the place to find food, and that they're not going to ask you for ID. I love this. I love this. So here's my last question for you, because you were wonderful. Thank you very much, by the way.
Thank you.
Why did you choose to work for Fill Abundance?
So working for Fill Abundance was actually my second go-around at Fill Abundance. My first go-around was in 2017. I had just wrapped up doing City Year Philadelphia, which is another nonprofit where you go into schools and you help raise literacy and math rates. Shout out to Southwark Elementary. That was the school I taught at on 9th and Mifflin. And I fell in love with community service. I fell in love with helping people, but I got my degree in writing. And so I was like, how do I help people while also writing? And Fill Abundance was also hiring at the time. And I myself was food insecure throughout college and sometimes when I was a child. And so watching my mom navigate the safety net system through getting food stamps, and at the time it was actual food stamps, and in college getting EBT with the card, it was just so, sometimes I felt so low because people didn't really know how to navigate the food system with respect. I had seen what it was like to be on the side of receiving food and not receiving it with a respectful and kind hand. And when I applied to Fill Abundance and saw the work that they did and how respectfully they provide food to people and how kind they are, and some of our agencies know people by name and know their families. And so it was just such a big sense of community, but also such a big sense of this is a problem, and we're not only working to end it right now, we're looking to end it for good. And I think that's my biggest thing with Fill Abundance is that they're looking at hunger in a bigger space and knowing that this is an issue that can be solved, but we just need to work together to solve it.
Samantha Redamar, you are worth your weight in gold as the Public Relations Associate at Fill Abundance. Not only did you answer my questions, you were absolutely ready. And I loved one at you that you didn't expect to come, right? You jumped right in. Thank you so much. And happy holidays to you when it gets here. And thank you on behalf of all of us here. Thank Fill Abundance for giving people their food with dignity. You have a good afternoon.
So much.
Okay?
You as well.
Oh, you're
Stay
quite
safe.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. It says hunger here, that hunger hits every zip code in America. Without access to nutritious food or enough of it, people can't thrive. It affects everything, from health to education to financial success. It is hard to concentrate on schoolwork, find a job, or manage a heart problem if you struggle with food insecurity. Hunger is one of the harshest and most detrimental symptoms of poverty. Most simply, it is a result of not having enough money to cover all your basic needs. Wow. So that was Samantha Redamar, Public Relations Associate from Philabundance, and we're talking about the fact that the holidays are upon us. There's 60% more increase because of COVID and people losing their jobs and home insecurity. So it's a lot. There's a lot going on out here. Maurice from Southwest, how are you, honey?
Mother,
Listen, you gonna stop banging on me.
I got to be the first. I told you I met Denzel one time down at when he was in Philadelphia filming the film Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
And we was in the Copa down on 4th and South, and I knew who he was, and I sat down and talked to him.
Uh-huh.
And, I just said, I know who you are. Can you just sign this for my wife? He signed it. So, he asked me to sit down. I said, I bought him a beer. He bought me a beer. And I made sure that I didn't ask him anything about Hollywood, and I made sure that I left before he asked me to leave.
Oh.
Because I want to show him that, look, I respect your privacy and everything you're doing, and I'm not one of them guys that you got to get rid of. And that's just my policy is I try to leave first.
Yes.
But, Mother, I never
but listen, but wait,
I never
Maurice,
turned the radio off.
Maurice, but you don't have to. You can leave first, but just say goodbye, Mother. That's all I'm asking you to say. It's
Hey,
goodbye.
look, if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be sitting outside the studio right now. But look, let me break this down to you. You know how
Yes, sir.
I don't like politicians.
Yes.
Well, I'm on 1210 a lot too, the Republican station. They know me, and they tried to get me to turn on those black politicians.
Oh, did they?
They tried to say, hey, we hear you all the time, because they listen to your show. Believe me or not, they do, because they be saying a lot of things you be saying. And they say, yeah, we hear you in the afternoon, and we need you to come on and say some things about the city council.
Right.
You know what I told them?
What?
I'm no Ice Cube, baby. You're not going to get no words out of me. I might not like them, but I'm not going to help you not like them.
How about that, Maurice? Tell them that this is family business. It's a family affair, huh?
I told them, listen here, that's why you guys let me come on and talk trash to you guys, because you know I'm 100% black. So don't think I'm going to flip now.
Oh, I
might
love
hate
it.
them to the core, but guess what? I'm not going to help you hate them.
How
Well,
about
look,
that,
I
Maurice?
just want to give you some information. You know the young
Yes.
boy that killed the protesters, the two Jewish guys, and
Yes.
and
Yes.
shot. I just wanted you to know who paid his bail,
The gentleman from My Pillow.
right? And also, who else?
I don't know who the other person is.
Richie Rich.
No way.
Yes, he helped pay it too, because it was a $2 million bail. So we need to get on this campaign. Not My Pillow, because we're not buying no pillows no more. We got to send a message. See, that guy is dangerous, because if he does stuff like that, we don't know what else he's funding his money with.
Oh, but if you Google him, you'll hear you'll read a lot about him, right? And that's why I tell folks, before you spend your money, see where your money is going, where your hard-earned money is going.
That's right. That's what I tell people. I tell people you got to watch who you deal with, because a lot of people tell me don't deal with this. I investigate. That's my job. When I was working at the prison, I do investigations. And I investigate like we know. City council takes money from fraternal order police. People need to know that. So when they do all that talk and trash,
Now, so hold on, Maurice. Can you back that up with facts and evidence? Because most of these have the facts.
if
All right,
you call their office, they will actually tell you that they do.
Mm.
See, we got to know who we deal with. We can't expect people to bite the hand that feeds them.
Right, right.
So you got to find other angles. It's a chess game. Everybody wants to play checkers. No, we done moved on to chess now.
Yeah.
And we got to be careful on what we do, And right now, we need to be picking our mayor, whoever is male, female, whoever, white, black. I don't care. I just want them to do the job. Because the way things are going right now, it doesn't matter what color it is, Philadelphia ain't got no better.
Yeah.
So we just need to be wise on our choices, and somebody that's about bringing the poor up, because when in these presidential campaigns, they always say the middle class. Not once have they ever talked about the poor.
I know. And what's so interesting to me, Maurice, that the presidential campaign was a great segue for them to say, all right, this is who's coming into town. Let's make sure the people of Philadelphia are taken care of. All we saw was a lot more of the same stuff. You know,
I'm
getting them to come to my house, or I'm getting a photo op with them, or I get to have one-on-one with them, and then we're like, all the stuff we need to talk about in this city. Let me know what you're talking about so we can help the people here. You know, the Philadelphia Inquirer just did a whole big piece about why Philadelphia is the poorest city because of the way they do business here, right? And for the people that it's a lot. And it's a dubious distinction that I am just going to keep sitting on until somebody has enough gunyas to come in and say, listen, we messed up and we're trying to figure out the best way. You cannot sit there and sit in power. And what are we doing? Like, they did an office that they're putting $10 million in to address poverty. Huh?
But
you know, maybe I'm the crazy one, Maurice.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to George, because when George talks, a lot of people say George is a little evil and he's mad. But let me tell you something. He knows City Hall, and when he talks about them contracts, that's what makes the city run. And if you look for black contracts, there are none.
Oh, no, 2%. I know.
All right.
I know, Maurice. All right. Well, you have a happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for calling.
I'm going on the slow roll.
Maurice, behave yourself.
You hang up on me.
All right, Michael. Hang up on me. All right, Michael, hang up. Bye, Maurice. I love the WURD listeners. See, he just don't want to say goodbye. I don't know why he wants to say goodbye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
PECO is here to help this winter. With LIHEAP, you can get up to a $1,000 cash grant towards your PECO bill. You don't have to be behind on your bill to qualify, and you'll never have to pay it back. Even a family of 4 with an annual income of $40,000 is eligible. So don't count yourself out. This deal is first come, first served, so apply now at PECO.com/LIHEAP or call 800-34-HELP4. That's 800-34-HELP4.
Always Best Care is a great place to work.
Flexibility,
leadership, purpose,
great benefits.
There's never a dull moment.
diversity, inclusion, compasión.
We love our jobs. If you're looking for a great place to work, you can join our compassionate Team Green. You can apply online at teamgreenabc.com or call 267-909-9248.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I just noticed this in the news briefing that we get from Dee Patel every day. Philly Rising, I just had, if you're just joining us, I had a great conversation with Samantha Rabatar from Philabundance, and she was talking about the fact that there's a 60% need increase since COVID-19 and what's happening with the families. And here is something from KYW News 3. I'm about to open it up. Community fridge helps ease food insecurity worsened by COVID-19. Wow. So this was written by Antoinette Lee from KYW News Radio. The instructions are simple. Take what you need and leave what you don't. Though the refrigerators on the sidewalk in a couple of South Philly neighborhoods may seem odd to some passersby, they offer free fresh produce and pantry staples to neighbors in need. We opened our first fridge in August, said organizer Siona Aurora. Since then, we've opened a second one. What a great idea. What a great idea. You just walk up and the fridge is filled with bananas and eggs and garlic and ginger and fresh milk and, oh wow, and butter and cheese sticks. See, the things we can do in this city. Aurora says the community fridge is located at 6th and Wharton Streets and in front of the Bach Building at 9th and Mifflin Streets are always stocked with food. People are always taking food, and we've gotten really positive feedback from the neighborhood, she said. Aurora says when she was laid off from her job at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, she started getting involved with Mutual Aid Philly, a multilingual community service group. When a friend started a community fridge in Manhattan, she decided to bring the concept to her own community in South Philly. So for those of you who are listening, community leaders in your own little parts of Philadelphia, since we're made up of such neighborhoods, if we could set up fridges, you know, that has fresh fruit and vegetables, that's free for people who may need them. People are free to take what they need from the fridges. Guidelines have been created to help ensure that the items are safe. The project is sustained by volunteers and donations, so generosity is literally what keeps the fridges running. Again, something that we keep talking about here, right? One more thing I'd like to add, and then I'm going to wait. Oh, my Lord. This just came in from the Associated Press. 15 reputed mobsters in Philadelphia and South Jersey face charges. Lord Jesus. According to a superseding indictment unsealed today, the defendants engaged in racketeering, conspiracy, illegal gambling, loan sharking, extortion, and drug trafficking. Federal prosecutors allege the crime family sought to use its reputation and influence to exercise control over criminal rackets like bookmaking and loan sharking in Philadelphia and southern New Jersey, particularly Atlantic City. The Philadelphia mob isn't what it used to be, and thank God for that, said U.S. Attorney McSwain in a statement, but it is still a problem, and it is still allegedly committing serious federal crimes. My Lord, my Lord. In nicer news, Philadelphia Union soccer goalkeeper and Jamaican Andre Blake has been named the 2020 All-State MLS Goalkeeper of the Year. It's not his first time doing this, and I hear this young man is doing amazing work quietly to give us what we need. So let's see. Here we go. Want to make sure that I have, Miss Mary. Let me get Miss Mary in. Hi, Miss Mary.
Yes, good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon.
It's just two issues that I'd like to discuss. One is the 12-year-old boy that was shot he answered his front door, allegedly. And my thing is, we have all these security cameras on the street, you know, either those doorbell rings or actual cameras from these security companies like ADT. And it's strange to me that we can always find people when a police officer is shot and wounded, but never when an average citizen or a child. Now, we can secure that information from those security cameras, even if the public don't want to actually hand it over to the police. They can get it from the security company, like ADT. None of that information is erased. Once it's captured on the system, they can retrieve that information. So they can look and see who's in that area that have security cameras in place from whatever company, and they can get those cameras. But what I'm seeing, they don't want to solve these cases. You know, they don't want to get involved because you have to be a cold-blooded killer to just walk down the street and just shoot through somebody's door. And it has to be somebody's trained because it's always a headshot. If you notice when somebody's sitting in their car, it has to be somebody that have experience shooting. Somebody maybe in the military, have maybe a law enforcement background. It has to be a trained killer. So,
Miss Mary, I don't disagree with you. I was saying something very similar to my husband this morning. I said all these shots are headshots, right? And all of a sudden, nobody knows anything. And you're absolutely right, Miss Mary. They don't even have to ask for permission. They can use go get the indictment or whatever they need to get. I'm having brain fog, and say I need to get the camera from the footage from your camera because it was right in line. And so maybe George is making a little bit of sense here. George keeps coming on and saying this, that because we've talked about defunding the police, that the police, some police officers, I'm not going to make a blanket statement about them, that some police officers are just not doing the best that they can or working as hard as they possibly can to solve and fight crimes. If what you are intimating is true, Miss Mary, that it is someone from the military that's doing these things, then we have a slighter, bigger problem in that it feels like we're being targeted, right, on certain levels, because we never find these folks. Like, they just never show up.
And I remember reading an article in Newsweek, and I've been on this air several times letting people know, because I actually called my district office, the Philadelphia district office. They gave me the number for the homicide division, where in Newsweek, these white nationalist groups, that's part of their initiation. They said that they, in order for them to get into, now this guy was an informant who gave the article. He was with the Aryan Nation from South Philadelphia. That's why I called the police department, because he said he was from South Philadelphia. And we have all these unsolved crimes here. We have all these white nationalist groups, because I'll never call them supreme. There's nothing supreme about these people. But yet, they're not pulling these cameras information. They said in order for them to get in the Ku Klux Klan, they had to either shoot and kill a black person, a headshot, or a Jewish person. And this is part of their initiation, and this is how they're able to move up the ladder in their organization. So, you know, people are aware of this. News articles been produced with that, but yet Philadelphia having such a difficult time solving these cases. And if the police are just sitting on it, then they need to be held for insubordination, because you can be fired for that. You know, I was a shop steward for decades, and you do have to make sure that you're producing, doing your job. There's no way in the world that you can just sit there and not do anything to be a functioning worker. And we just approved a 2-year contract for them. And this is why I question the fact where they want to start up all these organizations, these community commission groups, where we just approved a 2-year contract. This should have been done prior to approving it, like this stop and frisk statement that was on the ballot. That should have been addressed before you approve the contract. So this is a bunch of nonsense that we're hearing from city council, where they're doing things after the fact, and nothing can be done to change that until that 2-year contract is up, because they can be sued for taking apart a contract that they approved of and sat on. So, you know, we're just getting a smoke screen from city council, and all these ballot questions, it's not benefiting us, it's benefiting them. And
so Miss Mary, let me ask you this. Let's take a deep breath, and let me ask you this. The stop and frisk question, that ballot question passed, right?
Right.
What are they doing with it?
Well, you know what? That has always been unlawful, stop and frisk. When Mayor Kenny decided to change it for pedestrian stop, this is what he's using it as to continue the practice. It's always been unlawful for you just to stop a person if you don't have any probable cause where you're able to stop this person. But Mayor Kenny is aware of this. This was to promote Terrell Parker. Simple as that. You know, we're hearing that she's running for mayor. Why would you put something that was already unlawful as a ballot question? You know, people need to know the laws that are in place especially city council, because we're finding out it's a lot of things they have been doing that has been unlawful and getting away with it. And when you hear about them not knowing the laws, then this is their job to learn the laws that's supposed to be helping the people in their city. You know, so it's no excuse what's going on with them. But like I said, a 2-year contract that they just approved, but yet they're going to have these ballot questions. This is just taken from taxpayers, as simple as that. But I want them to start solving these crimes. The police department, I don't care if you have to go through every camera on the street or get it from the department or agency that's holding this information. They can do that, and hopefully we can see a change.
Thank you so much, Miss Mary. Miss Mary, you have a good Thanksgiving if I don't hear from you tomorrow, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Before I take a quick break, Marla Campbell-Harris says, Marva, we have a Northwest Community Fridge on Aramat between Germantown Avenue and Green Street. Look at that. So we have a community fridge up here in the Northwest Community. Fridge on Aramat between Germantown Avenue and Green Street, where you can get free food, free produce, free everything in there. Take what you need and roll out, right? So, see, this is what I'm talking about. There's so much we can do, and we have so much capability within us to help each other, especially in times of need and trouble. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products, and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
It is flu season. Don't risk catching the flu during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flu shot is a safe and effective way of protecting you and your community from the worst of the flu. Don't say, I should have got my flu shot. Call your doctor or visit your pharmacist and get your flu shot today.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Before I take my next guest, Prince, how are you, sir?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on? You sound a little low today.
Yeah, hey, a little under the weather. Just a little bit, though, you know, because I hadn't had my tea. But can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and thanks for taking my call. The issue that I have is that there's been no political person that had gone over the house of the lady whose 12-year-old son was shot in the head and killed. Mm-hmm. And so everybody showed up when the cops shoot a person that is mentally challenged or having some issues, but no one shows up where there was a knock on the door and a bullet in a 12-year-old head. Just don't understand the lack of compassion that we have in the city. That it should be a press conference out in front of that lady's house, giving her the kind of support that she'll need. Because I think it was the grandmom that they were living with, so they might have had some parental issues. But the mere fact that people keep collecting these paychecks in this city while children are getting their head blown off is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I don't understand that at all because you know, these same politicians are quick to run to the hospital when a car gets shot. Yeah. Immediately. Yes. But we can't find out.
What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening, Maurice? I'm sorry, Prince.
You keep calling me Maurice.
Yeah, I know, because Maurice was the last person I talked to with his crazy self.
I think that we have to have a self-awareness and put new politicians in office. That just has to, because the ones that's in there now are just comfortable with waiting to hear for someone to attack them in order to mobilize. So where's the compassion at? Like you were campaigning that when you got in office, we would always have access to you or we would always see you. Those who don't need to always see you or have access to you still need you to respond in a way where we up to 400 and almost 440 murders, deaths. That's a lot. That's 100 more than last year and 140 more than the year before. And so this can't be a cavalier attitude when almost 80% of those deaths, 80% are African American.
Right. Who is the city council person where this 12-year-old was shot? You know?
It was in Frankfurt. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. I'm just saying, even the city council people at large still bear some of the responsibility because they are large throughout the whole city. You know, and I'm only asking because we shouldn't have to tell them to respond accordingly. They should be the main ones responding accordingly. You know, I mean, if you got a son, if you got children, to hear something like that, I mean, folks who have a little affluent or influential, if that had happened to them, they'd be raising Cain all over the place, and people would come out and support them. So the relevance of a grandma raising these kids is very important. If he's the 440th death in this city, but he's like the 130th, 100 and something child that got killed in this city. How about that?
Oh my God, this is too much.
I'm just trying to bring some compassion back because
I hear you.
We can't just have people, you know, not talk about that. That is just devastating, man. And any way we can do to help, because now this woman's gonna go into Christmas without her grandkid, and then she's gonna have Thanksgiving without this little kid who. And everybody on the news is talking about how jubilant he was and how active he was, and now he's just another kid missing from life. And I'll hang up and I listen to you, and thank you for taking my call.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Prince. Yeah. Bye-bye. What is the life of our black and brown children worth? We really have to take a look at that and spend more time digging beneath it. You know, it feels like our children are being utilized when it comes to, you know, finding ways to find programs that will quote-unquote serve them. You come into the community, you serve them, and then you leave the community, and you have nothing to give in return, and the poverty levels are still at the most devastating rates, and so it makes no sense to me. Let me say this to you. The Source Education Hour, because it is now 2 o'clock, is brought to you by Internet Essentials from Comcast. High-speed home internet for low-income families for just $9.95 per month. Visit internetessentials.com to learn more. Before I take my next guest, who I'm really looking forward to talking to, and I have some space to delve into the conversation. I think we're still waiting for one more person. Let me just double check. Dwayne from Southwest.
Yes, my something goes out for that 12-year-old boy that got killed.
Yes,
and what I'm a little very upset about, now, where all this outrage about this 12-year-old boy. Now, but when a cop do something like that, it'd be outrage. It'd be in front of City Hall, talking about enough's enough. And I don't hear nobody saying anything about that.
Well,
about that 12-year-old boy.
But, you know, there are people that have called in a couple of times now talking about him. So, people are concerned. What we're mostly concerned about, Miss Mary, who just called and said, why is no one looking at the cameras to see who shot this kid? You know, he was shot in the head military style. And you're right, we need to talk about this. Because according to Prince, who just called in, it's the 440th murder. 80% of them are black and brown children.
Yeah, because it's going to hit over 500. Because you still got 30-some days left in this year.
Yep. You're absolutely right. So I don't know.
All
what
right, I didn't want to hold you up.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling.
Did you say you got hit or something on a bicycle?
No, I actually hit. Well, yeah, I somersaulted off my bicycle this weekend, but that wasn't me. That was someone else. But this weekend I fell off my bicycle. I slipped. I hit a plank, and the bicycle threw me, and I flipped over, landed on the ground, and then I kicked my leg out so that the bicycle would land on top of me so that I wouldn't mess up the gearbox. So all day yesterday I could not move.
Yeah, that's what happened. When I was on that trail, I used to ride that trail that goes up the Valley Force late at night.
Yes.
I used to ride that late at night, and I went over. I hit something and went over. Because I used to like riding that trail late at night.
Yeah,
and you can barely see on that trail.
Yes, and it's so serene up there, and you can ride 50, 60 miles on that trail because it goes all the way to Schwenksville and back, right?
Yeah, I used to ride all the way up to Phoenixville.
Yep.
From City Hall to Phoenixville.
Yeah, isn't that great, though? It's such a great exercise. But thank you so much for calling in.
All right, so you have a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, she is back just in time. We have on the line Rachel Ezekiel Fishbein, Minna High on, and I don't think, did David Cabello call on yet, Michael? Because I think David is the one that we're waiting for. Wait. Michael is texting me. Not yet. So we need David Cabello to call on. Let's see. This is the 2 o'clock education hour, and so I'm very happy to have these guests on to talk about CIC Philadelphia, and their mission is to create innovation communities that support impactful entrepreneurs to fix the world. I love it. First of all, love the mission statement. By providing intentional space, resources, connections, and operational support, CIC's growing international network of facilities in Cambridge, Boston, St. Louis, Miami, Providence, Rotterdam, Tokyo, and Warsaw. Founded in 1999, CIC helped transform Cambridge's Kendall Square into the country's leading tech and life sciences startup hub. Wow. Good afternoon to all of you. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Hi. All right, so let's see. Rachel, is that you?
This is me. David is trying to get through, but he says it's not ringing. Maybe there's another number we can give him, or we can call him.
Is he on the 215-634-8069?
I believe that's the one who's trying, yes.
All right, so Michael, put Rachel on hold and get his phone number and call him, please. And then I'll talk a little bit about CIC. Yeah, he's going to put you on hold and get his phone number, and Michael will call him. So let me tell you about CIC.
Thank you.
You're welcome. CIC Philadelphia. What does CIC mean, Minna?
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
So CIC stands for Cambridge Innovation Center. We were founded in Cambridge, Boston, which is why it has that name, and we opened up in Philadelphia in 2018.
And then you opened up in Philadelphia in 2018?
Yep, 2018 in November.
And let me see now. Let me just double check to see who you are so I can tell people why you are involved in this. You are the events lead at CIC. You develop and manage the supplementary programming, including events and office hours, often partnering with Quorum and Venture Cafe. She also manages all social media and enjoys bringing in elements of videography to her projects such as the CIC Philly walkthrough video. Tell me about the CIC Philly walkthrough video.
So that was actually one of the first projects I got to work on when I first started at CIC last June. And it was really just a way, we were still pretty new at the time in our community, and it was a way for us to be able to showcase just visually what it's like, walking through our space, connecting with the people in our community. So we were actually able to partner with Rec Philly. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them. They're a really great creative agency in Philadelphia, so we were able to partner with them, and they helped us produce that walkthrough video that now lives on YouTube. And it was a really fun and creative project that I'm thankful I got to work on.
So let me ask you this. How can anyone get involved and engaged in partnering with CIC?
So I think there's a lot of different ways for anyone in the community to get involved in CIC. I think the first way that,
anybody off the street, even if you're not involved in a startup business or a local organization. Our sister nonprofit, Venture Cafe, operates out of our space. Right now they're virtual because of COVID, but every Thursday they host a free Thursday gathering filled with all of different kinds of programming, industry experts, panels, really cool different types of sessions. And this is open to the public, so anyone can attend. Nowadays, since it's virtual, you can really just log on. Every day is filled with new and different types of sessions and programming that you can join. And it's a really great way for you to kind of get a feel and an introduction to the startup community if you've never really been involved before.
Right.
Hey, Nina, doesn't one of our 36 for 75 folks do their podcast out of Venture Cafe?
Yeah, actually, one of our last cohort members from our cohort this year, Tanya Morris, from her startup is called Mom Your Business.
Yes, I know exactly who she is. I know her.
Oh, awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's very connected in her community and in within our ecosystem here. She's found really great ways to stay connected and engage with people. And actually this year, once the city shut down, she found a way to get connected through Venture Cafe. And through Venture Cafe, she was able to actually launch her own podcast, which she broadcasts through Venture Cafe every Thursday. And that actually lives on their website, on their YouTube channel, and she brings in different guests every week. And it was a really great way for her to utilize, our connections and the ecosystem here that we have at 3675 Market. And it's been so great to be able to see her really grow and continue that.
Yeah, and oh wow, that is now. So that was a great story, right? I know Tanya Morris, and I know that when she started Mom Your Business. This is why I tell folks all the time: be very intentional about what you're doing and how you're doing it. One of the things I'm going to ask you is, what are the key things that people need to know when they want to start up a business? How do they get involved with this? And you have you're accepting entry for the 2021 36 for 75 cohort. So Rachel, I'll ask you about that in a little bit. Let me jump over and talk to this young man that I have heard so much about and have not had an opportunity to meet. Can't wait. David Cabello, founder and CEO of Black & Mobile. Black & Mobile is the country's first Black-owned food delivery service that exclusively partners with Black-owned restaurants to give them more exposure and customers. The founder, David Cabello, a 22-year-old college dropout at the time of Black & Mobile's creation, laid the foundation for the company in late 2017 throughout 2018 and launched the service in February of 2019 during Black History Month. Mr. Cabello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? Thank you, everyone, for being on the call and inviting me.
Listen, so you inspire me. And let me tell you why.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I keep telling folks this, David, y'all stop sleeping on the young people. They are smarter, they're brighter, they're more insistent, they're not sitting around waiting for people to hand them anything. And so the fact that you're even on the call, because I've been trying to get you on my show for a while, did not know that it would be coming through Rachel and this group.
Well,
right?
See, the elders know the way, though. They already been through a lot of the things that we're going through. So, the right ones will lead you, and, some people may steer you in the wrong direction. So it's always important to know that. But, yeah, age is a big thing for me, but, I just really want to help. That's just what I do. And regardless of what age I am, we're going to, continue to keep doing that.
Yes. And so you're humble, too, on top of that. I love it, right? You're recognizing that you have to give honor to your ancestors and the ones that came before you. That,
for sure,
dear sir, will lead you down a path where you will always be okay. Never forget that, okay? So here's my question. You own the first – they're talking about you in Atlanta. They're talking about you in Virginia. They're talking about you in Florida. How did you get to this place where you decided to create Black & Mobile? What was the foundation for it?
Yeah, it was back in 2016. Me and my twin were roommates in college at Shippensburg University. I was majoring in business. My brother was majoring in geography, actually. And he was taking some courses. He said a white professor spoke so highly of Africa, he never heard anyone talk about Africa that way. And they don't want to do research himself. So I mean, be honest, I was there, to work, but in my first couple semesters, I was partying. I was my grades weren't that good, and my brother was always center. He said, "Oh, you got to read this. You got to learn this." So he was always trying to teach me something, and read this book. So I started reading these books, and it just kind of opened my mind. Everything changed for me. So started researching more. Started learning more about our history. We just became so fascinated. And the day after Trump got elected, me and my brother decided to drop out, and we said we're going to go help black businesses and black people any way we can. So that's how our journey started. In 2016, I was 21 at the time, and after that, we started delivering for Postmates. We started delivering for Caviar and Uber Eats. Uber Eats and Caviar, and we were just trying to survive at that point. It was more than making money. We had no money. We were college dropouts, and we were just trying to survive at that point. And as I was delivering, I started upgrading from Postmates to Uber Eats, and then I landed a job with Caviar. And the way we did it was so crazy because it takes 6 months, sometimes even longer, to even get approved and hired. So I went in there after I applied. I went to the main office and I just applied. I've been doing this for a while. I need a job. I can't wait to deliver. Basically just showing that I'm eager and I'm hungry. I'm ready. And they said, you know what? We're going to approve you faster. So honestly, me and my brother, we're twins. We just started using the same account. I'll be on it for 6 hours. He'll be on it for 6 hours. And that's how we made our money. And one day, well, let me not say one day, because it was a total of 30 hours within, the week of working, just honestly part-time stuff. And I made 1,100 in 30 hours of work. So I said to myself, if I can make this much money delivering food on a bike, how much could I make if I own the company? So I already wanted to help black business and black people. I was already a business major, and I had already been working for someone, helping them design the e-commerce store and designing the app. So I had all the skills I needed. I researched the market. I YouTube some videos. Come to find out, there's no black-owned food delivery services. Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, Postmates, Caviar, E24. There's so many of them. They're all either white or Asian owned. I said I was going to be the first black-owned one on that level. And from there, I designed my own website, designed my own app, and that's exactly what I did.
Wow, and the young shall lead them. Wow, wow, wow. What was the book that you read that made you become more conscious? Do you remember the title of the book?
Spiritual Warriors Are Healers. It's the most amazing book I ever read in my life. The author is Mfudisi Chuhutima, and he is a Kemetic priest. And, I even started reading and writing hieroglyphs. It was just amazing. Wow. I chose that book over eating at the time. So I was fasting. I was losing weight. I went vegan. It was pretty hardcore and extreme, my awakening, and that just changed everything. It changed my view on just everything, on myself and how to eat, on black women. It just changed everything all across the board for me. Loving my mom more. Just growing up. Some things can happen where you can start to resent family members for doing certain things, or you didn't. It was just so much where I had to break those chains. I had to relearn myself, and ended up finding out after researching that just where I come from and my family, that we're related to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it all paid off. I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm just ready to kind of build off that.
Wow. Rachel, are you there?
I think she said that she got dropped off the line, and she keeps getting a busy signal when she tries to call back.
So I just Michael said that she's on the line. Michael, call her again, please. She keeps getting knocked off. So David, listen, you have, when COVID ends, I want you to set not when COVID ends, right now, because I know you're very busy and your business is doing incredibly well based on what I am hearing. But yes. I'm praying that you're continuing to write the blueprint for people who wants to come behind you. And let me tell you why. This is the largest poor city in the country, right? And we keep hearing that the unemployment rate here is 24%. And what you just described is what Angela Duckworth from the University of Pennsylvania calls grit, right? You don't have to have a college degree. All you have to have is determination, the stick-activity, making sure that you can outwork and outpace anybody around you to get where you need to go, right? That's what you did in essence. How fast has your company grown now? Because it's 2020. What happened between February of 2019 to now 2020? Where's your company now?
We in 1 month we sold as much food as we did the entire 2019 in 1 month. So the growth was just shocking. Honestly, it was just like it was overwhelming too. It was. Yes. I mean, we had to close down a couple of days, and we had to hire more drivers. It was just so many orders where like we have to just strategize. Like we just come up with something else because what we're doing now is not going to keep up with this demand. So we had to just kind of rebrand and do everything over. And from that point, with another round of the whole shutdown, like we're more prepared. We have a new app, so we're more prepared. But it was an overwhelming experience, even with the murder of George Floyd. Unfortunately, it was good for business for me, but I don't want business that way. I don't want to have good business over a black man being murdered. So that was unfortunate that other people would support us because of that, and other companies took advantage of that. But despite all that, we had a great 2 quarters because of the whole COVID thing. We had a couple hiccups with our new app, but it's just business is way better than it was last year. It's incredible to see the growth just in less than 2 years of business.
All right, so you just described something from a SWOT model, right? Which is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. One of the weaknesses that you just described was that you started off, you didn't expect it to grow as quickly as it did, and so you weren't quite ready for the growth when it came, right? So what advice would you have for people who want to start a business? What would you do differently now than what you did then?
I wouldn't even say I would do anything differently because you can't predict a pandemic to happen. So, as long as you are, my advice would be, as long as you know that everything is not going to be perfect and that sometimes you're going to mess up, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be hiccups, as long as you don't give up and you keep going and you have to keep improving. If you're not trying to improve your business, someone else is going to come up with it and do it way better than you. So as long as, again, I'm not trying to be the only one. As of now, I'm the only one that's doing, but if I can inspire other people to do it and you want to help black business and black people, that's my main focus. So I would just say anyone that wants to start a business, you have to just make sure that you keep improving the business. You keep on focusing on the customers. You keep on, focusing on believing in yourself. Like, that's the main thing. That's one of the major differences between me last year and me this year is I believe in myself way more, and I know that nothing can stop me. Only thing stopping me is me, myself.
Rachel.
How are you?
Woo. Yes, honey. Listen, how did you get David? How was David engaged with CIC?
Let Unity. David was one of the people who applied for 36 for 75 last year. So that is why we wanted to come on to make people aware of that, because 36 for 75 is this amazing program that CIC has each year to try to give access, give support, provide opportunity for young founders, maybe people who aren't your typical business owners. So we're looking for black owners, we're looking for brown owners, women, people with disabilities, people who are LGBTQ that might not normally have that access. And David and Aaron, just his brother, were perfect for this. Nina, let me take it from there because you know more.
Yeah, just to go off of what Rachel said, that's exactly why we created this program. And, we have this beautiful space in West Philadelphia, and we entered the Philadelphia community a couple years ago. And the main vision for this program was for us to lower the barrier and open the doors to these underserved founders so that they have an opportunity to create their own connections, see their own growth while they're in our space, and to be able to connect and lean on each other as well as a community and as a cohort. The few things that we did see in Black and Mobile and why we love them and why we think they were a perfect match for our program is exactly what you were saying, Andrea. They didn't have the degrees or, it wasn't about us collecting everyone's resumes and saying, how far are they in their business, but it's really about what were they trying to do for their community and how were they working to make a positive impact in Philadelphia. And that's something that we really believe in, and we really love to support those missions within those startups.
So what's so interesting? Hold on one second for me. You know what's so interesting for me, Mina, is that this is a conversation I had just last Thursday where I said we had to figure out ways I find co-working space. Maybe that's what Rachel heard, because I've been constantly having this dialogue around we've got to find ways to elevate small businesses, especially of black and brown people, right? Philadelphia only has 2% black and brown businesses, and the majority of them are in such desperate, dire straits because they didn't know what they were doing, pre-pandemic, and now we're in the middle of the pandemic. Many of them have gone out of business. I have to take a quick station break, but then I want to come back and I need you to describe in depth how do people apply for the 3675. And David, I have some more questions for all of you. Hold on one second, please. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea.
Did you know millennials make up the largest
after these messages.
Tech savvy, practicing mindfulness, and being socially and ethically conscious, but they are also on track to be in worse health than previous generations. Pitch your best ideas, Philly. You have the power to help shape how we address millennial health and mental health challenges in our beloved city. We'll connect you with our mentors and get you ready for a pitch competition with our judges. Visit economyleague.org/wellcity.
Save the date. Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. for the 5th annual WURD Empowerment Experience. And this year, the virtual and on-air event will be extra special as we celebrate the career of radio veteran Cody Anderson and discuss the importance of independent black media. For more details about the 2020 WURD Empowerment Experience or to RSVP, visit WURDradio.com and stay tuned to WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Many of us have heard this term before, but may not know what it really means. Compassionate living brings mindfulness and peace to the center of your daily life. Compassionate living can look like this. Number 1, be gentle with yourself and those around you. Number 2, choose to speak kindly to others, even when you're upset. Number 3, become a good listener and practice empathy at home and at work. We sometimes think in order to live with compassion, we have to become someone else. Not so. In fact, allowing peacefulness to be at the center of our daily interactions is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at WURDradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio, streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I am in a fascinating conversation with Rachel Ezekiel Fishbein, who is the communication strategist and writer. She's an award-winning communication strategist and writer and has been called a social media guru by the Philadelphia Inquirer. Prior to founding her freelance PR consultancy, Making Headlines, Rachel worked at 2 large Philadelphia ad agencies. Then we have Minna Hayan. Why am I getting this? The events lead at CIC, which is Cambridge Innovation Center. As events lead at CIC, Minna develops and manages the supplementary programming, including events and office hours, often partnering with Quorum and Venture Cafe. She also manages all social media and enjoys bringing in elements of videography to her projects, such as the CIC Philly walkthrough video. And they chose to highlight David Cabello and his twin brother for the founder and CEO of Black & Mobile. It is the country's first Black-owned food delivery service that exclusively partners with Black-owned restaurants to give them more exposure and customers. David is 20. Well, he was 22. How old are you now, David? 25?
I am 25.
Yep, makes about sense. You're right around the age between the ages of my 2 sons. I am so stoked, right? Rachel, how did you get involved with the Cambridge Innovation Center?
You know, I was just really lucky. I got a referral from a former colleague right when they were coming into Philly, and immediately got excited when they told me that their managing director in Philly, Sally, had come into town about, I think it was 6 to 9 months early, and met with local leaders. And she asked them, what is it you need in Philly? And they said, we need a better pipeline for kids. We need, especially, again, underserved students. We need ways for them to succeed, which is just what 36 for 75 is about. And then she went about making it happen through programs like this. They also have a social impact cohort where they give pro bono space and services to nonprofits. So in my business, which I've been doing PR about 35 years, I've had my own business 25, since my son, who's David's age, was born, when I wanted a little more work-life balance. Anyway, in my business, I spend about 50% of my time working with nonprofits. So their mission really resonated with me, and I've been lucky enough to work with them for the past 3 years.
And it's such a good, it's almost like you could hear me in the spirit, because I kept saying we need to have something in Philadelphia. So often we have people calling in and they're so distressed, you know, we can't find jobs, we're not qualified, we don't know what we want to do, or I have a business idea, but I don't know where to go with that business idea. So someone tell me, how do they go about applying for 36 for 75? And do you have to be young, or can you be older with a business thought, an idea?
So anyone, absolutely anyone, can apply to our 36 for 75 cohort. It can be at any stage of your business. It could even be still in the idea stage, so you don't even have to have taken your business off the ground. You can be any age, so you can still be in school. You could be in your 40s or 50s, and that's what we're really looking for, is for people of all diverse backgrounds, of any stage in their life, to be able to bring those different perspectives into the cohort. But to apply, it's really, really simple, and we make it simple for a reason. All you have to do is go onto our website, cic.com/36 for 75, and on that page, there's 3 questions to choose from, which is how is your idea going to change your industry's landscape? How have you collaborated with your network to accelerate growth or build your business? And how are you putting Philly on the map? So out of those 3 questions, you just choose one, and you send your response in a video with 60 to 90 seconds, and that's really all you have to do.
This is all right. So David, when you decided to apply for the 36 for 75, where were you in your process that made you decide that that's what you wanted to do, that's what you needed to do, and how did you find out about the Cambridge Innovation Center?
Yeah, CIC really just changed like everything for me as far as my structure and just having that stability. I remember hearing about it from Leonzo. I believe his name is Leonzo, and he was from, what's the company?
Global Village?
He was a company that used the space to have like events there, like everyone comes together. I can't think of the company off the top of my head. Global Village, that's what it was, Global Village.
Okay.
And he told me about it, you know, because I was joining another one. He told me about this one, you know, say like it's basically, you know, you can get in there for free for now, you know, just basically like a couple of months you can go in there and just kind of learn it. And I looked at the spot and I'm like, this is beautiful. So, you know, I applied, and when I won, it was just amazing. So many opportunities have come from CIC, just from me having the structure to go have meetings with drivers. Before COVID, of course, we used to meet with all of our drivers to meet them. Now everything's virtual, but we would meet with all of our drivers there. We would have business meetings there. Like my brother was still delivering. You know, he'll go out there on the bike, and you know, it was around January when we first got started. So he would go there to warm up. You know, they got the kitchen, they got the bathroom. It was a perfect spot for us to really be able to like have like a home almost for our business. It was really a home for our business, but like another thing where we can go over there. They got everything in the bathroom, from if you want to sleep over there and mouthwash. It was just amazing to see everything. I wasn't used to it, you know. I wasn't used to having such a nice spot, and it's like 8 floors of office space, so it was just beautiful. And then one of the best things, I actually found another. He was a part of the 3675 from Jump Button Studios, our developers. He was from there from I think the year before, a couple years. And now they're my app developers. They were there, and I wasn't even going to go to the meeting. I was so busy. I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to go for a little bit. My brother left early, and then at the end, towards the end, Nick introduced himself, and he said, I'm the owner of a black-owned gaming company, and basically they develop things. And I was like, wait, is that really a black-owned tech company? So yes. I took his information down on my notes. I didn't even end up contacting him for 2 months later when I finally got the funds to at least get started. And I didn't have all the funds. I said, we're going to make this happen because we can't wait anymore. And that's how our relationship with Jump Button started, all because of joining CIC.
Wow. And so Jump Button created your app, correct?
Yeah, they created our new app. We had an old one that I did myself, and then they created the new one.
And you see, when you talk about creating those networking opportunities, this thing is amazing. It feels like an oasis in the desert. It's at 3675 Market Street. Is that where it is?
Yep. Yes.
How many people do you accept for each cohort?
So we actually got the name of the program 36475 from our address, which is 3675 Market Street. So the whole concept of the program is every year we select 36 founders. That's how many founders we look for. And we give them access to our space for 75 business days.
And give them access to what for 75 business days?
To our space. So, and everything that comes with our space. So you have access to the kitchens, like David mentioned, the office, the meeting rooms, our conference rooms, all of our amenities. We have a whole team here that's ready to support all of our clients with whatever needs they have. You have an official mailing address.
My gosh.
Yeah, all of those things.
And all of this
really
for 75 days at no cost to them?
No cost, all free, yep.
Do you eat? So, David, I need you to do a pitch for Cambridge Innovation Center. I need you to do a pitch for why people who are listening to you, young, not so young, 1 foot on a banana peel heading to the grave, but have a business plan. You tell them why they should apply for this program.
I mean, first, the environment and just, it makes you feel more like a business owner. Like you have an office space. You have floors of office space that you can use. Everyone there is nice. They have the really, the precautions they took even during COVID. And, of course, they even looked out during COVID. So, they really they always help me with every situation. I just like the organization, that they have inside of CIC. Like I said, everyone's nice, everyone's friendly. I've got so many opportunities from CIC, and just for Black and Mobile alone, it's just a good home. Like they were saying about the mail, I get mail there. I didn't have any of that. I had no stability. We were just doing all phone calls, so it just really brought that stability to actually have a home, a business address. That make me more official, if you want to say. So, and then again, honestly, the price is so cheap right now. It's like, why wouldn't you try to take advantage? Because of course everything is not free, and I don't want everything to be free. I got to try it out. I loved it. I will always be a part of CIC, even if the price were to increase. Honestly, and again, I shouldn't be saying that online, but that's the truth. Because if it went up, I would still pay because it's such an asset to my business. And I just hope to see them all across the country because I already know as I expand, they even said that, the ones they have in Boston or Miami, I believe, I'm able to go in there. I'm able to use my access card and go right in there. So I can't wait to see them all across the country. I definitely, as I go to all these other cities, I will be using them if they're in those cities. And I love it. I love the opportunity. I think that everyone, whether you're, no matter what business or what color you are, I think that everyone should apply and have the opportunity. But, of course, Black businesses, we need that, less than 5% in the city, and we definitely need that stability. And most people probably don't even know about CIC, so I definitely think
they did not. Rachel, we have to thank Rachel for it because she reached out to me behind closed doors. Praise the Lord. Thank you. And Rachel, I know that we still have to meet, and it's going to happen sometime sooner rather than later. Let me what is the cost for people to apply for this? And is there a fee afterwards?
There is no fees at all. So all you have to do is record the video and email it in, and that's it.
And that's it. And after the 75 days, then what?
So after 75 days, your free access does end, but we try and provide a way for you to easily access the community if you're still interested. So we have a ramp-up pricing program for cohort members who are interested in staying after the space. We actually have 3 current members from last year's cohort who are still in the space through different programs through CIC. So someone is a brand ambassador for CIC and is getting free space. Tanya from Mom Your Business was connected to Black Girl Ventures, who actually has space with us currently, and she's one of their brand ambassadors. So even after this cohort is over, there's still so many different touch points that these cohort members can use and access to still stay involved with CIC in some sort of way.
Is it possible for me to come down there and visit it, 3675 Market? Can someone make that happen for me?
I can definitely make that happen. Yeah.
Okay. I am so intrigued, and just really helping people to get to a different place in their life means the world to this particular program that you're on right now. And so to have all three of you on here talking about something that I have been trying to figure out how we can help the people of this city, help them to levitate and get to a different place. But no one is more creative than Black and brown folks who are the body butters, the food, the black and it's just all sorts of things that the things that we're able to create and design. And I'm thinking of a young, she's not so young, she's my age, she's in her 50s, but she knits the most amazing things. And every time I say to her, you need to get your business up off the ground and get a website, and she stalls, you know? And so I'm listening to this and I'm like, oh my God, and she can do that. I could be her model. Listen, go. Just trying to get people to figure out other ways to earn an income where they're not so dependent on other folks. You know what I mean? So
she needs to talk to Tanya, because Tanya could really help her. That's what Tanya does with Mom Your Business. She works with momtrepreneurs, and her whole thing is getting to scale. Because I think, look, I can relate. As a 55-year-old, 56-year-old business owner, it's really easy to get stalled. Yes. And you really sometimes need someone else to give you that kick in the butt and to show you can do it. So if you want to connect her to me, I can send her over to Tanya.
I will. I absolutely will. This was such a fascinating conversation. I want to continue. When you get off the line, just hold one of you and tell Michael when is a good day, or send me an email and let me know when is a good day for me to come down and visit, COVID-friendly style, of course, because, I'm able to do it on a Friday afternoon. So if you can do that for me, then I'll be able to come down there, and then I can fully describe to the WURD listeners exactly what it is that they're getting. When is the deadline for applying?
So we extended the deadline recently, actually, with the new restrictions. So you have until January 15th to apply.
Hey, Andrea, can I add one thing to all this?
Yes.
Do you mind?
Okay.
No, not this is a little. So Tanya at Mom Your Business and I brainstormed an idea. So I'm not even a member of the cohort, but we were talking about Black-owned businesses, and I just want to encourage your listeners to go up to this list that we've created of local Black-owned businesses, and we're encouraging people to shop at them on Black Friday. We're calling it Black Business Friday. So your producer has the email address, and it's just a tiny URL. It's called tinyurl.com/shop Black Business Friday. So I just wanted to throw it on before we get off the air.
Yes. And if you're on the WURD Radio Live, Rachel, can you just put that on there too? Shop Black Business Friday.
I will go on right now. Yes.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for what you're doing. You're inspiring lots of people who are listening to you. David, go out there and knock them dead and go from state to state to state and take all sorts of people with you and become the mogul that you already are. Okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And Minna, thank you. You're going to hear from me, and you will see me, because I have folks that I need to apply to this thing. And even if they don't make it in this cohort, they can make it in other cohorts coming up, so we can start to pull the city up out of the doldrums that it's in right now. Thank you, all of you, for being a part of this conversation today, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're so welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. The Source Education Hour was brought to you by Internet Essentials from Comcast. High-speed home internet for low-income families for just $9.95 per month. Visit InternetEssentials.com to learn more. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio to connect Philadelphians to resources to help take the next steps in their professional lives. WordWorks.com features career readiness tools, entrepreneurship resources, funding opportunities, and events to expand your livelihood. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey.
Work, 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 work.
Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
Just one more step. You got it.
You're doing great. This is the sound of a nationally ranked top rehabilitation hospital, home to the largest collection of robotics in the United States, where we continually exceed patient expectations. Because no injury is too severe or too minor for our care.
There you go.
This is the sound of success. Moss Rehab. Challenge accepted.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Listen, Sister D from South Philly, please call back. George, please call back. I'm happy to talk to you now because I have a little bit of time. If you're just joining us, we had a conversation with the folks from Cambridge Innovation Center. I want to make sure that I have the URL. Rachel will put it up soon for all of you on the social media page, on the Facebook line page. This is a great program that opens up a space. If you are chosen, you have to answer one of 3 questions via video about what makes your business great, you know, what are you offering to Philadelphia, and I forget what the other one is. And if you are chosen, you get 36, let me see if I get this. You get 36 something for 75 days. Whatever it is absolutely free, and they help to scale up your business. This is why I write as much as I do, because I write this stuff down. They're located at 3675 Market Street. And, you know, then I had a great conversation with Minna Hyon, which is the events lead at CIC. And then Rachel Ezekiel Fishbein, Fishbein, you know, the Jamaican accent in me. Sometimes I can get it absolutely right. Fishbein, thank you. Communication strategist and writer. And David Cabello, who is the founder and CEO of Black and Mobile, who is happy to tell you that he had an awakening while at Shippensburg University reading a book, and he and his twin brother dropped out and started Black and Mobile. You know, really spent time, you know, they were really just hustling, right? Outworking everybody and following up on any opportunities that they had. And when they heard about the Cambridge Information Center, Innovative Center, they joined it as a part of the cohort and they got chosen. Tanya Morris from Mom Your Business, someone I actually know, was a part of the cohort last year. The cohort 36 for 75 is now open, and they have moved I think though, after this day, you're going to have more people than you can even imagine applying for this, because I'm sending a few people to them. The deadline is now January 15th, so you can apply to see if you are chosen. They choose 36 people, and they have 75 days, which is great. Sounds like something amazing. It is absolutely free for the 36 people that they choose, who have 75 days to get all access to all 8 floors of what's, you know, of goodness, kitchen, toothpaste, everything you need, you know, business acumen. They give you all you need to scale up your business and do what you need to do. So there are more than a few people that I would like to be a part of this. And I'm super stoked that they're on, because we're consistently having a conversation about what's happening in Philadelphia and what is so wrong in Philadelphia. These are the things that are right in Philadelphia. And so if you can take charge and put up a video and take charge of your own life in trying to gain access to this program that is absolutely free. And when the program is over, you only get charged a nominal fee to continue accessing their resources. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to follow David Cabello and his brother moving forward to see what we can figure out. All right, George and Sister D, call back, please, because after this I have another guest on the line, and I'd like to talk to you both. This piece was written by the Washington Post. I love their byline, "Democracy Dies in Darkness." I wish I had come up with that thing. This is called "The Case Against Indicting Trump" by Randall D. Eliason. It was written yesterday at 5:13 p.m. President-elect Joe Biden is said to be wary of the prospect of his administration investigating and potentially prosecuting Donald Trump. Biden reportedly says he will not interfere with the decisions of his new attorney general, but that he would prefer to just move on. "I used to prosecute public corruption cases Excuse me. And I take such cases very seriously. Now, why am I coughing? All of us say this lightly. Biden is right. Wow. Those who favor investigating and potentially indicting Trump claim it is the only way to ensure that justice is done and that no one is above the law. Excuse me, guys. Every once in a while, my throat gets dry in here. They believe criminal accountability is necessary to restore our damaged norms and institutions. If there are not criminal consequences, they argue, Trump will have gotten away with it and future presidents would have been emboldened to go even further. These are powerful arguments, and I am almost persuaded. There's definitely a social cost to not pursuing any potential criminal cases, but the alternative is arguably costlier. So they're saying don't prosecute Trump. Launching criminal investigations, Michael. My producer just sent me the spray. You know, they treat me so horribly. Launching criminal investigations into an outgoing president would set a dangerous precedent. In this country, we don't use the criminal justice system to punish political opponents. Trump has routinely threatened to prosecute his political rivals and led lock-her-up chants at his rallies. Those who recoiled from such behavior should think twice before encouraging Biden's attorney general to start down the road. So I need you all to call me and tell me what you think about this. They're saying, despite all the things that have happened, despite all the laws that have been broken by this current president, that he should not be tried and charged. Now, at the federal level, it may not happen, but at the state level, I believe it's going to happen again. And so this person is looking at this from a political angle. He's saying that the problem would be magnified if his intention is to run for president again in 2024. We also don't prosecute political misdeeds that aren't actually criminal. Many of Trump's actions fall into this category. The past 4 years have showcased how much we have relied on unwritten norms to guide the behavior of presidents we assumed would act in good faith. So, well, but what is the precedent we're setting that such behavior, and because there's no law that expressly prohibits it, right? He says outrageous, yes. Sleazy, yes, but likely not criminal. My Lord. And so moving along, that was an opinion piece from the Washington Post with the byline, Democracy Dies in Darkness. Business leaders, this is from the Daily Beast. This was written by Jamie Ross, updated this morning at 10:58 a.m. It says, business leaders tell the GOP, get Trump out or no Georgia donations. Oh, my. Shame clearly hasn't forced Republican leaders to put pressure on President Donald Trump to begin the transition, but perhaps demands from national security experts and top business executives will. The Washington Post reports a group of more than 100 leading GOP national security experts, including former Homeland Security Secretary Tom Ridge, have urged their congressional counterparts to demand Trump administration immediately acknowledge Joe Biden's victory and start the handover. President Trump's refusal to permit the presidential transition pose significant risks to our national security at a time when the United States confronts a global pandemic and faces serious threats from global adversaries, terrorist groups, and other forces. A statement signed by more than 100 GOP luminaries said. The statement also called on Republican leaders, specifically those in Congress, to publicly demand that President Trump cease his anti-democratic assault on the integrity of the presidential election. Also on Monday, more than 100 top business leaders are issuing a letter demanding the same from the Trump administration. According to the New York Times, if a concession from Trump doesn't happen, the executives may threaten to withhold campaign donations from 2 Republican candidates in Georgia whose runoffs will determine the Senate's balance of power. In that letter, the business leaders will demand that Emily Murphy, head of the General Services Administration, issues a letter to confirm that Biden has won and that the transition can begin. This is good. So they're starting, the GOP leaders are now starting to put pressure on them, because this is insane. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I just want to make sure from Michael that we don't have any callers in. Okay. I'll do one more for you. That was written by USA Today. Psychiatrists must prevent harm and injustice, especially when they're coming from a destructive government. Transition warning. Trump's mental illness is a growing danger. This was written by Dr. Bandy X. Lee, who is an opinion contributor for USA Today. As the world celebrated, this was published this morning at 3:15 a.m. As the world celebrated the Biden-Harris victory, mental health professionals braced for the 2.5 months that we deemed would be the most dangerous period of this presidency. Indeed, in just days since the announcement of the election results, Donald Trump has refused to concede, has obstructed a peaceful transfer of power, has fired and replaced top officials responsible for the nation's security, and has contemplated catastrophic war. All of this on top of ignoring a surging pandemic that is now infecting more than 150,000 people per day and killing more than 1,500 Americans per day. Since Donald Trump's election, mental health professionals have come forth in historically unprecedented ways to warn against entrusting the U.S. presidency to someone exhibiting dangerous mental impairments. We held an ethics conference with the most highly respected psychiatrists in the country to ensure a solid ethical basis for speaking up. And then they talked about an unprecedented bestseller, blah, 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 blah. The American Psychiatric Association promulgated the false notion that we cannot know anything about a person without a personal examination, which goes against its own standards since 1980, when observation superseded interviews for diagnosis. And so they're going on to say that, let's see, how did they diagnose President Trump? This thing is going on too long. Yeah, they're going on too long. So I'll go back and look to find out exactly what they've diagnosed President Trump with, but they believe he has a mental illness and that we have to be careful in the transition warning. George, let me take a quick break, and then you'll be the first person that I talk to. I'm sorry. That's scary. That's scary. That's not okay. Gary, let me take a quick break, and you'll be the first person to talk to on the other side. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
This year's been tough, but it's given me a lot of time to learn new skills through the internet.
I've been joining more classes during lockdown.
I'm doing an internship.
I taught myself how to play guitar.
So when people ask,
will I be able to learn online?
I feel like I'm ready.
Internet Essentials from Comcast has connected millions of families from low-income homes to the internet. So no matter what back to school looks like, students can be ready for anything. Learn more at comcast.com/Internet Essentials.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. For all young people to succeed in Philadelphia public schools, they need adequate resources and materials. But not all students have the same access and opportunities they deserve. As Philadelphia public schools continue to operate with remote learning, we at WURD Radio want to do our part to help students have the resources they need to be successful. Please join us and our community partners, Global Citizen and the Cayuga Elementary School, by donating supplies online so students have the same supplies we would want for our own children. Go to globalcitizen365.org to make an online contribution of supplies.
At Champion Dentistry, we want to make sure your smile is as healthy as it is beautiful. Whether you're calling for a routine checkup, calling about a newly developed toothache, or interested in learning about cosmetic dentistry options. Our services include routine checkups, cosmetic dentistry, gum care, laser dentistry, and more. Champion Dentistry is in the Overbrook Farm section of the city, easily reachable by public transportation. Call 215-473-4717 to schedule an appointment today or visit championdentistry.org, the House of Smiles.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, we've been having great conversation. We started the show with Samantha Redamar from the Public Relations Associate of Full Abundance, talking about giving food to more than the food insecurity has grown by over 60% because of what's happening with COVID. And then we learned about the refrigerators that are being parked around parts of the city, not through Full Abundance, but from another organization where you can just go open the door, take what you need, the perishables, and close the refrigerator. So there's good things happening here, and I wanted to discuss a lot of that. And then I had the Cambridge Innovative Center on, and three people, Rachel Ezekiel Fishbein, Mina Heon, and David Cabello. I'm talking about this fabulous 36 for 75 program that they are a part of, and they have openings for it now. The deadline is January 15th, so if you're someone who wants to start a business, only has a thought, don't have a thought, just, this great idea, send it to them. You may be one of the people chosen, one of the 36 chosen for 75 days, and they'll help you with over 8 stories of just great space and resources. That's just awesome. So let me, Gary, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you, sir? What's going on?
I'm good. I just wanted to say I enjoyed the segment you had with the Cambridge Innovation Center. That was great, hearing that information. But, I just heard you make a comment about, I don't know who it was that said that Trump should not be prosecuted.
Child.
Is that what I heard?
Yes, that's what you heard.
That's what I heard. Okay, I thought I had to get a hearing aid or something because I didn't think I heard that. But, that's amazing. But then what I thought about, because there would have to be other heads that roll because they enabled him to be able to do what he did.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how anyone, I don't care what party, to say this person should not be prosecuted. And he has a long history. We can go back to the Trump Institute he had to pay out money for. I mean, this guy is just not a reputable business person or person at all. So I don't go along with that one. He should definitely be prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. If it was me or a black man, it wouldn't be a question. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be a question.
And he was impeached, right? So I'm a little bit like, where are we going with this? Now, are they saying that they don't want to prosecute him on the federal level? Or can he still be prosecuted? Because according to everything that we've read and everything that we've been researching, lots of this stuff was criminal, right? It may not all have been criminal, but some of it was, right?
Yes.
And I think we haven't begun to see what's going to come out of this as time goes on. Because once he gets out of the White House, people will start to really uncover. And I'm sure they're shredding and doing everything they can at this point.
But you know what, Andrea? There were other people that enabled him to do this. I think that's what the real issue is. Yes, he definitely should be prosecuted without a doubt. But it's all those other people behind the scenes that allowed him to do what he did. They their heads are going to roll. So, of course they don't want him prosecuted. But, Andrea, I just want to say I want to thank you for what you do. I always love listening to your segments, your show. And I just want to mention one other thing before I leave about that young man, 13 years old, that was shot. These guns are all over the street, and I don't understand how they don't know how these guns are getting into these people's hands and what's going on. They don't, and I think it was Prince that mentioned about, I didn't see a press conference where there was an elected official that looked like they went to the family, said something. I don't get that. And I think going forward, I'm looking for new people, young people, whoever, to run for office that really have a passion and love for our people and that are going to do the right thing to run for office. And we need to support them. We cannot keep continuing with the status quo with these individuals who care absolutely nothing about us. Thank you, Andrea.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Gary. Take it easy and happy Thanksgiving, okay?
Same to you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
This segment, we're running right now into someone who I'd love to talk to, Dr. Mitchell. Edith Mitchell has spent her medical career helping individuals in medically underserved areas to realize that simple changes in lifestyle can have a dramatic impact on cancer care. She is the clinical professor of medicine and medical oncology. Through her work, Dr. Mitchell has demonstrated the importance of community service and outreach, especially to those individuals who may not have the means to seek out more conventional medical advice. Dr. Mitchell, good afternoon and welcome to The Source.
Good afternoon. I am so happy to be here and so pleased at the invitation to join you today.
Listen, so before we get to COVID, because Lord, I started the show with COVID, I'm going to end the show with COVID. I am consistently telling people to wash their hands, distance, not to go to each other's houses for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm even putting up my recipes online, Dr. Mitchell, just so that people can make their own food and, and just stay as safe as possible.
Thank you. I have to see those recipes. Now, you know, I am a prolific cook. And Thanksgiving is my favorite dinner to make. And I usually have somewhere 20 to 35 people for dinner.
Yes.
But this year, absolutely not. I'm making dinner for two.
Yes, so are we. So are we.
Nobody else is coming here. But
yes,
I am making all my favorite food.
Yes. Okay, so do you make Jamaican food?
I'm sorry?
Do you make Jamaican food?
Oh, yes, I love.
All right. So I'm
making my favorite sweet potato pecan pie.
Sweet. Oh, listen to you. You know, my husband is probably somewhere listening to this going, yes, on the sweet potato pie. So listen, I am looking at this. You have been a clinical professor of medicine and medical oncology. What are you seeing in our underserved areas for people that are showing up with cancer? Are they coming when their cancer's fully blown, and they couldn't help it because they didn't have medical care, or are they showing up early for help? And I'm asking you this before we get into the COVID conversation.
Sure. So for cancer screening, this year, because of COVID, cancer screening is down. If you look at overall African-American communities or other underserved communities, individuals present with later stage disease. But there are some, for example, colorectal cancer is where I've done a lot of research. And for colorectal cancer, African Americans have a 20% higher risk of getting colorectal cancer. And a 40% higher chance of dying of the colorectal cancer than any other group in the United States.
Wow.
So there is a lot of information we don't know. And in fact, for African-American men, African-American men have a 47% higher chance of dying of colorectal cancer if they get it than white men. So we are trying to find more information about cancer. We're trying to get patients in for screening so that the earlier we find the cancer, the better the likelihood of good treatment, survivorship of the cancer. But it's so important that African Americans participate in clinical trials so that we can understand this. We can understand the why and make sure that we get patients in for appropriate diagnostic tests and appropriate treatment.
Yes, and because of our fear.
Cancer is a big problem.
Yes.
And with COVID, it's even worse because many people are afraid to come into the hospitals or other diagnostic and treatment centers because of the worry of COVID-19.
Yes.
So we're seeing patients with later stage disease now, unfortunately. So what I want to say to people is go in for your regular appointments, your regular preventive screening tests, and your regular annual physical with your doctor so that we can continue to try to take care of patients, because in the African American community, we already have these pre-existing differences even before COVID.
Right.
And with COVID, it's even worse.
Dr. Mitchell.
Go to your doctor. Go to your doctor.
Okay.
Now,
do you believe, let me ask you this question, my apologies. Do you believe that our diet has anything to do with our rate for Black men, the colorectal cancer? Their rates of dying is higher?
So I think it's probably multifaceted. I don't think there is a one answer. I think diet and nutrition play a role in terms of the foods that we eat. But understand that for many people in our community, we are the day workers. We are the essential personnel. Many have inadequate insurance. Many have multi-generational households where they're caring for maybe a grandparent or aunt or uncle, and therefore don't have access to be able to purchase healthy food. Also, we have communities where there are food and nutritional deserts, where the nearest supermarket where you can get fresh fruit and vegetables and healthy food is quite some distance away. So there are socioeconomic issues. We've got redlining, where Blacks have been confined to be able to purchase a home in certain neighborhoods, and consequently, they're not the resources to identify good and healthy restaurants or supermarkets where you can even get the food. So I say there are many reasons why diet and nutrition might contribute to not only hypertension, heart disease, stroke, but also to not only colorectal cancer, but many other cancers as well.
Yeah. All right. So let's go into COVID-19. What is Jefferson Health doing to help this COVID-19 pandemic?
So we have been extremely busy at Jefferson over this entire year, from the time that the COVID virus was found. Even before it was declared a pandemic, Jefferson was working to get information, to do research about it so that we could identify it. And early on, Jefferson established one of the first testing sites in the city. Jefferson actually converted a large parking lot to a facility for testing. And this was in March. So right as it started. Now, this has increased significantly to the fact that we have received a city-funded grant to run a no-cost testing site at two of Philadelphia's most vulnerable, underserved areas. The first is in Northwest, and it is at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church School parking lot. That's located at 7940 Williams Avenue. Now, this site doesn't matter if you have insurance or money to pay for testing. It is open to anyone needing testing. Now, the St. Raymond site is open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thursday and 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday. Now, we have a Southwest location also at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School parking lot.
I know where Richard Allen is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's at 2601 South 58th Street in Philadelphia. Now, this site is open Friday from, let's change that. It's open Wednesdays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So this site will not be open this Wednesday, but it will be open Friday. And we have to change that because all of the personnel running these two free sites are our Jefferson personnel who have their usual jobs to do, and they volunteer to work at these extras. We have not, the city-funded grant did not allow us to hire additional people. So these are our regular frontline nurses, technicians, doctors, all volunteering to work extra. And because of the holiday and requirements, we will not be open Thursday, nor will we be open Wednesday, but we will be open back to regular work Friday and Saturday. And we encourage individuals to come to these sites. You don't need to pay. You don't need to have an appointment. But if you call, we can tell you whether it's very busy or not, and that can hopefully help with the long line.
So what's the phone number?
The number to call is 833-533-3463. That's 833-533-3463. And, you know, it's really interesting. We screened over 1,000 people last week.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Yeah, and these are our regular doctors, nurses, and others who work extra time to do this with the city. Now,
right.
We
so
are
my question, Dr. Mitchell, my question then becomes, if they're volunteering their time, they're working with this, giving extra time, isn't the system already struggling? How are you managing to be able to do the testing sites and with what you have going on at the hospitals right now?
We have personnel that commit and are committed to this work. And we therefore work that extra time. And I just thank all of the personnel who have put their arms around this effort, who work for it, who support it, and who will continue to give to the city of Philadelphia and to the people of Philadelphia, because that's what we do. We take care of patients.
Right. I'm so excited to hear that you all have done such amazing work.
I'm just so excited to work with the people at Jefferson. They're so dedicated and volunteer to do this extra.
Yeah, agreed. What are the symptoms that listeners should be looking out for as it applies to COVID-19?
So understanding that the majority of individuals with COVID-19 are asymptomatic and don't have any symptoms. And that's why we have to social distance. We have to wear our masks. We have to wash our hands. And we have to wash our doorknobs and other areas of our home where multiple people use. Right. Now, for those who get sick, there are some interesting things. We think about fever, cough, shortness of breath, sore throat, muscle aches, headaches, nausea, vomiting. However, the most predictable signs are a sudden loss of taste and or smell. Those are critical. Losing your sense of smell and ability to taste is absolutely a sign of COVID-19. Just regular colds and viral infections don't cause loss of taste and smell.
So here's my other question. I just watched a piece on 60 Minutes about the people who have gotten COVID and are now considered long haulers. They're having strange symptoms long after the virus has gone. And they're saying that doctors are making them feel like it's all in their minds, and that Sloan Kettering is now running a program with thousands of people who are struggling with symptoms long after COVID?
Yes. So for many individuals, the symptoms of COVID don't go away, or at least right away. The nerve involvement, and that nerve involvement could involve taste and smell, but it could also involve headache or fatigue for months after the acute infection is over. And yes, we are evaluating some of those patients at Jefferson as well. We don't know what all of the long-term effects of COVID-19 are. We also don't know how long these last after the period of infection is over. There can also be long-term consequences of lung involvement, shortness of breath, cough, weakness, fatigue. That can last for many months after the acute infection. Remember, we never knew anything about COVID-19 until earlier this year. So we are learning more as time goes by. But the important thing is to, if you need testing, get tested. And we've got to prevent spread of the infection. So we all must wear masks. We all must social distance, keep 6 feet away from everybody.
I absolutely
Wash
agree
your
with
hands.
you. Yes, ma'am. I tell them that all the time.
Use some cleaners, to clean the areas of our houses where multiple people use. And if you can't afford the disinfectants, or there are no disinfectants on the supermarket shelves, just some soap and hot water and a little bit of Clorox is better than nothing.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from a third world country, so we understand. We didn't have Lysol wipes. We had bleach. And we use bleach and water and hot water and soap. And that kills just about everything. I also tell people this, Dr. Mitchell, that if they're in their cars all the time and they have access to wipes, wipe their cars down, the steering column, everything that you're touching consistently as you're going in and out of places. And make sure you carry extra masks, extra gloves, whatever you can with you, that if someone doesn't have any, you can help them. Or when you're exercising, because this happens when I exercise, I change my mask 2 or 3 times. As they start to get wet, I change them so that they don't lose their efficacy.
Oh, absolutely. If you use the disposable masks, get rid of them.
Yes, ma'am.
If you use the masks that are washable, make sure you're washing them after each use.
Yes. Very important. Something that you wouldn't tell people, but you're absolutely right. I want to thank you so much.
The other thing I do is I have wipes with me in my purse, in my car. And when I get out of my car and have to touch a button in a garage, I make sure I touch it with a wipe. And then if I have to open a door, I don't touch that door. I touch it with a wipe so that we are preventing exposure to ourselves, and therefore we're protecting ourselves and protecting others. The other thing I want to tell you is that at every Jefferson Hospital site, we also do testing. So at Center City, we're testing at 10th and Sanson in Center City. For the Navy Yard Jefferson site, we're testing there. At Abington, at the old ARIA site, and then at our Jefferson, New Jersey site, and at Jefferson Methodist Hospital, so that Washington Township in New Jersey, all of the Jefferson sites are also testing. We only have the 2 sites that the city grant covers, And therefore, those two sites, if one does not have insurance or the money to pay, you don't have to. You can get free testing at those two sites at St. Raymond and at the Richard Williams site.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edith Mitchell, Clinical Professor of Medicine and Medical Oncology for Jefferson Health. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate all the great information you gave us. You have a good Thanksgiving, okay?
Thank you, and you have a good Thanksgiving, and all those recipes, I'll be looking for them.
Yes, ma'am. I'll send them your way. Thank you so much.
Thank
all right,
you.
bye-bye. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I know I have Ann on the line. Ann, just let me get back from the commercial break, and then we'll talk to you because I have to take a quick break. You are listening to The Source, and if those of you saw me coughing, Michael just sent me a text asking me if I was dying. But sometimes my voice, when I talk too much, I lose my voice, and I start to cough. So I was trying. I had my little cough box, you know, where I press the button so you can't hear me. You can see me, but hopefully you can't hear me falling apart over here. But I am okay. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my scratchy voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media.
Do you have a K-12 student who does not have reliable internet at home? PHL Connected is here to provide eligible students with free high-speed internet to make sure they always stay connected to digital learning. Dial 211 and press 1 to ask questions and get connected today for free. The hotline is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so call anytime. That's 211 to get your student PHL connected today.
The Word Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on Word Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the Word Radio newsletter.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I was going to play a song so I could give my voice a rest because I've been coughing quite a bit. But Ann from North Philly, are you there?
Yes.
How are you,
Hello,
madam?
Andrea. I'm good. I'm always at the last minute calling. But the doctor that was on, I see the problem with not so much food is the fear, and not even insurance. Everyone has insurance. And if you go to the house and you don't have it, 9 times out, you're entitled to it. When they tap into it, then they, you have your insurance already there. You just never went and used it. So that's what I feel about that. And then this, I still tell people, a lot of people don't want to drink the prep, and Dr. Blake had to change his format, but still check because they might, you might have the insurance that he's looking for.
Okay. Right.
And if you don't, pay the money because you want to know. That's what happens a lot of times. People hear so much about it and they say, oh, I'm going. And they keep saying they're going. Then
they never go. Yep.
Yeah, until it's too late to go. I'm not going. And so the people that are around know the situation and things like that, they'll make them go. Take them and make them go and have these tests done.
Yes.
I just don't understand it. And there's no hungry people in the foreign country. I mean, free world or how to go countries, in other countries, yes, but here, no. But everyone is giving out food, so much food.
when people realize, you know, you don't have to go to every food drop-off or food bank, because you don't need it like that.
Yes,
you know, if you know somebody, get to go. But I see so many boxes where people open the boxes up. Oh, I don't want this today. I don't want this, but I had got that the other day. You know, things like that. Don't do
they
that.
got choices, huh? We can't do that. We can't afford to waste food. Not today.
Well, you
Not at all.
drive around, you see where a lot of them are taking stuff that they want out the boxes, just what they want, and throw the food and stuff like that. It's a waste.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
you know,
Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate you for that. You have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay.
Same to you.
All right. Bye bye. Glenn from South Philly, line 3. Glenn, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What can I do for you, sir?
Yes, I want to know, you just had a doctor on, and I tuned in a little bit late, but did the doctor mention anything about good nutrition and vitamin supplements?
You know, she did not, and it's something we really should talk about, right? Dr. Ayla Stanford says echinacea, vitamin D, vitamin C, right? The vitamin D because we're not getting enough sun in the winter months, and most of us don't have enough of it in our bodies. And she said the echinacea and the vitamin C really helps us to stay healthy, especially now during the flu and season month, right?
I have another question.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Washington Post, WNPR, and the New York Times?
Yes.
Well, all those 3 papers said, and people can look this up, at one point that the test kits were tainted with the virus itself. Did you see that?
No, did not see that.
Yes. Well, I'm inviting the listeners to go look that up. The test kits were tainted with the virus, and the feds have found that out. That's public knowledge. Now, I'm just curious to know how many people have seen Asians go there and get tested. People pushing Asians to go get tested like they pushing us to go get tested.
So tell me exactly what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, being that there's 3 sources that said early in March that the tests were tainted, and then in November, another source said the tests were still tainted with the virus. What I'm saying is, we don't know where the test kits are coming from. 7 different countries have rejected the test kits that come from China because they were giving out false positives.
Okay, so hold on 1 second, because you know I have 4 computers sitting in front of me. The Washington Post, the CDC coronavirus test kits were likely contaminated. Federal Review confirms. This was written on June 20, 2020. The test kits for detecting the nation's earliest cases of the novel coronavirus failed because of likely contamination at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, whose scientists did not thoroughly check the kits despite anomalies during manufacturing. According, but they're not saying that it was tainted. It just they did because of the pressures that they were on.
One was several had said it in March. And then on November the 6th, it was also posted that the test kits were still tainted, and investigation was being done on the test kits.
Okay, so the latest one that I see is in June. I don't see anything here beyond June. July 14th, it says fact check, contaminated CDC COVID-19 test kits recalled and did not spread the virus. So
of course, they retracted that, and my thing is this: what if the test kits are tainted? They're telling us we're asymptomatic, but what if we don't have the virus and they infect us with the virus from the test?
Okay, so
now,
all right. So hold on. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, you are right. What is the result that you're looking for? What is the solution you have for this?
Well, first of all, I think Donald Trump is a racist, and I think Biden is a racist. But Donald Trump said a long time ago, he said, just stop testing it, and the rate will go down. And everybody laughed at him. Everybody laughed at him, and it was true. It was simple mathematics.
So wait. All right. Okay. All right. So you're losing me now. Let me tell you why you're losing me. There are the majority of the testing right now, because if you're making the assumption that it's happening in the black and brown communities or anywhere else, in North and South Dakota, they have the highest testing rates right now. Let me just say this, because we've been following this for the longest time. Let's just say that there were some tests that were tainted. There is enough empirical evidence around the globe. This is not just America. People are being impacted all over the place. We cannot not take this virus seriously, sir.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take it so serious that you look and investigate it and don't believe what this government tells you.
I got you.
In 2017, we're talking about Bill Gates said in a 201 conference that this would happen in 2017. Now,
okay, so Mr. Glenn, let me just say this. There are people that have known for years what viruses are coming down the stream simply because of the amount of population that we have in the world, around the globe. And as you have the amount of people, things start to grow and shift and change. And the antibiotics that they're using don't work as well. And so things will happen. This is what happens when you have an overpopulation of people around the world. So they knew that this was coming. Wait a minute, Mr. Glenn, hold on, because I listened to you. The Obama administration kept saying that there was a virus that was coming that was going to be worse. They saw signs of this long before they made it public knowledge in 2019, right? It just so happened that the big bang of it came out in China because they have 1.3 billion people. I understand that we have to be very careful about what happens around us, especially for those of us of color. And I understand that the conspiracy theories are running amok, and I understand that we are reading certain things, but I really want us to put everything in context because we are dying at an alarming rate, and I want to make sure that we do everything we can to stay safe. Forget the testing and the virus and whatever else. Wash your hands. Wipe down everything. Use bleach and soap, and have a happy Thanksgiving, okay?
But let me just say this. Things stop being a conspiracy once they've been proven. Would you agree?
Yes, sir. But I'm telling you, I cannot continue down this line of discussion with you right now because there's too much that I personally would disagree with you on, and I'd have to go do my research so that you and I can have a good conversation about it, right?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, sir, because what I don't want to do is be respectful in any way. I did go Google, and I saw some of what you were talking about, so I'm going to go do my own research, okay? And then we can talk about it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a good holiday, okay?
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye. All right, George.
And good evening. How are you? A very interesting day. I mean, very, very interesting. You know,
trying to kill me, George.
Well, you're handling it very well. I like that. You know, earlier today, I came out of a meeting and had to go back into a meeting. But you were talking about the violence piece, and you know, people are blaming, you know, this, that for that kid getting killed. I mean, it ain't nothing like what they hitting it on. Is that you got to understand. If you want to be, everybody's mad at cops and this and that. Don't be mad at them. Don't even be mad at your neighbor. Be mad at those ones who sat there, who cursed the police out, talked all that dirty talk to them, defund the police. We don't want them in our neighborhood. All this here, F the police. Now, you're at war with the police. At the end of the day, you're going to find out who's going to win. So those ones who were starting all this crap, and I'm not talking about everyday protesters, these so-called, these homemade leaders, you know, that made themselves leaders, who ordained themselves to be leaders. They're the ones who are to blame for all this killing. The blood is on their hands.
So, George, so let me see if I get you straight, because Miss Mary called in earlier, and it reminded me of something that you keep saying. Are you saying, because I just want to be clear, George, let me just clear this up right now. Are you saying that the murders and stuff are continuing to happen because the police are not following through, because they've been treated so horribly? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what to make
100%. I mean, they all told you that.
Okay.
And if you look back on it, and I keep reminding people, for those who want to be what they call, you know, just blatantly in denial, Don't want to believe something like that would happen. Want to believe that they were right. When McNesby stood there, and I keep saying it so you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
When the head of the FOP was on television and told you, okay, it's going to come a day that you're going to want the police in your neighborhood, then what? It's going to come a day that you're going to be like, you know, where are the police? You know, when crime rises and bodies be all, he said all this here, right? He said, then what? you know, he said you can't have it both ways. And you can't. Now,
and so you think
tell
right
somebody,
now,
look, man, when you say, look, why don't y'all just go ahead, sit down with McNesby and try to work something out. You know what these idiots say? I would never do that, man. I ain't got no blah, 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 blah. But he holds all the cards. He got everything there is, and you have nothing. You have nothing but your mouth. They'll sit there and fat mouth off to the person who got everything.
Right.
If you know,
all right, George. So tell Mova this. What is the solution?
Someday they're gonna have to make peace with McNesby, whether they want to or not. And them cops gonna still be out of control. They ain't out of control. They just not doing nothing. Make 8 hours and go home. That's it. Everything you want to take away from them, you can't take away from them. That was all feel-good legislation. Act 111 won't permit you to do it. The city can do anything they want. The state supersedes the city. So all that stuff that they put on their ballot, sound good, feel good. It's a knee jerk. It's just something to make you feel good.
So what if I tell you that the state is looking to change that act?
They don't have the vote.
Okay.
Republicans run the state. Those clowns who told you that was just trying to tell you something to make you feel good. They know it ain't nothing they can do up there. Donald Bullock had a chance of getting something done until the George Floyd happened, and then they started all that defunding and that craziness started. Now she can't get nothing done. It ain't going to happen.
Right.
I mean, people don't like the way I say it, but who cares? At the end of the day,
George, you've never cared. You have never cared what people thought about you. Don't start now, George. I think it's
I definitely don't. You're right. But I just deal with what facts are.
Right.
You know,
right.
Act 111, if you do anything to the police, you're doing it to the fire department. That means medical rescue and all that there. Look at what the consequences of what you ask for. That's what I always say. Be careful what you ask for. They'll give it to you. But the city can give you anything you want in writing, knowing that the state is going to supersede over it. It ain't going to happen.
So then, George, what do we do to shift what is going on in... Listen, let me take... George, I can't deal. What do we do to shift the conditions, the living conditions of our people? 440 folks are now absolutely dead, right? Yeah. These are our children and grandchildren and cousins and nieces and nephews. I mean, at what point do we stop looking in the abstract and see the human lives and the human cost in all of this?
As soon as you let the police... And listen, I ain't no fan of theirs. Okay? I'm not no fan of the police at all. Okay. But I got enough common sense to know that somebody got to do something. And they're the only ones who can, like, really... That's why they call them law enforcement. You know, you may like the way some of them do their job, but sometimes you need that.
So wait a minute. So what you're saying is nothing will change. We just have to let them go back to where they were?
No, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's like they have a point to prove. And when you got two sides got a point to prove, the stronger side wins and prove their point. And people in the process are dying. You're getting slacked of everything because you got a couple ignoramuses who want to sit there and say, man, I don't care what they do. I ain't going to say nothing for them. Oh, you know, it's like they chewing on a neck bone or something and no teeth, you know, just sucking on the bone, talking out their mouth. That's what it sounds like.
All right.
I keep telling you, they don't care. Okay?
And here's what I keep
people dying.
Here's what I tell you, though, and I want you to hear me really clearly when I say this to you. After a while, the will of the people win. If by might or by however else we're going to do it, right? After a while, people are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and something has to change. Nothing stays the same forever, not even the police department. Nothing stays just the way it's always been built and designed. So, at some point, something is going to give. Something will give. Yeah, and trust more on that. Okay?
Let me say this here. All that leadership we have in this city, it'll leave before they do. Because you know why? whose food you eat is whose song you sing.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And that's what they do. They eat from the plate. That's who feed them. And they sit there and come to the public and tell you all this nice stuff you want to hear. And then at night they all sit down and have dinner together.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you so much, George. You have a good Thanksgiving if you don't call me tomorrow to give me some more, all right? All right, bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we'll be right back after these messages.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Don't travel the water. I won't be alone. Why don't you let it be? Still water run deep. Yes, it do. I know that. Oh, yeah, if you only believe.
Sanders. That is Aretha Franklin's version of Bridge Over Troubled Water, one of my favorite versions of that song. I played that song about 1,000 times as I was seasoning up my meats on Saturday because there's so much going on in this country. But her playing of that piano and her voice, I could not end the show without playing a little snippet of that for all of you. But I think you better call Tyrone. Call him. Hey, Tyrone.
Hello, Mother.
And tell him, come on.
I love George, and George knows I love that brother. But, I'm not going to just sit back and allow him to say that the whole police department is
well, what he said, Tyrone, was that there were some knuckleheads in the police department. I'm going to tell you that. He did say that.
Well, I'm just telling you, what we have witnessed over these, seeing on camera. Because, what we see on camera is what's caught. But we know there is a lot more that are not caught in our court. But the thing is, we have individuals who, for whatever reason, doesn't value the life of other people. But we cannot say that's how the whole police department failed. Mother, I've called on many occasions.
Yes.
First of all, peace and blessing to you and much love to my WURD family. But I have called on many occasions saying that these numbers was going to increase if we in the community didn't become more of a village and did not, do more in terms of what is going on in our community. Because if somebody can come on your block and go on somebody's porch and shoot 22 times and able to walk away, then there's something wrong. There's definitely something wrong. I don't know what the block.
But Tyrone, let Moba ask you this question. Do you really believe these are all people that live in the community that are doing these shootings?
Oh, no, Mother. No, not a chance. Not a chance.
Okay.
I'm only speaking about the ones that are happening in the community.
Right.
And I just keep bringing that situation up because, even when our organization, last year on every Saturday, we went on various blocks trying to get folks to talk about what can we do about the violence that is happening and the killings that are going on in our community, and what are they willing to do? Because the idea is, again, I ain't blaming it on no politicians and no police commissioner. I'm trying to say that we are all in this together. And if we work together on this, we can bring some kind of, it's some kind of easement to it. And I don't think we're not going to stop it because there's just something that some folks don't do nothing but think violence is the answer to the problems. And that's where I don't get is why we're not speaking more about those who are committing the crimes as opposed to those who...
Well, Tyrone, that's because there's somebody's son, somebody's nephew, and that's the thing. We're fussing and fighting about the crime, but we're not turning in the ones that we know that are committing it. Lots of them live in somebody's house. Listen, let's just be real about this, right? So if you know that you raised your son or your nephew or whatever, and you know your son or your nephew is out there stealing and robbing and shooting people, and you're hiding them, where's the line? Where is the line? Which is why you see when we talk all the time about education and helping families when they're struggling and suffering, when there's a food desert and there's food insecurity and they're not getting what they need and people are moving from place to place because they can't afford All those things lead up to a place where we're seeing some of the things that were happening today. I'm not saying that if you're poor that you can't do and rise up and come out of it, because that would be a misnomer from the pit of hell. We've seen black people make nothing out of nothing and gotten PhDs, right? But it's just gotten so untenable in these last few years, specifically for black and brown people, you know, and the grit, the ability to rise above, it gets harder and harder. This thing destroys the human psyche. So when they're out there, you know your son is out there shooting and killing somebody, or your daughter should turn them in. Hardest thing to do. But what do? You leave them to continue killing and shooting people and thinking that it's okay for them to get away with it?
Well, Mother, you know, and the most devastating thing about it is that it takes away our ability to handle all these other things that we're dealing with. Racism, you know, sexism, you know, the homeless situation. It takes away from everything else when we're, you know, when they're creating unnecessary hardship on families. So I think again, it's we got to get away from the blame game and become more of a community and more of a village, and that's the only way I see that we're going to get
Tyrone. But listen, Mother's time is up. I got to get off the air for Evening Words. Call me back tomorrow, and we'll talk some more. Okay.
Okay, all right. And Mother, I want to thank Reverend Joe for, you know, calling my name today.
Yes, you heard him.
My pastor, you know, he's always looking out for me.
Yes,
thank you,
well,
Mother,
thank
for
you.
allowing
Thank
me to
you
see
so
it.
much. You're welcome, and thank you, Tyrone. Thank you for everything that you've done. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, we've come to another end of the source. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I will see you tomorrow, if God's willing and the creek don't rise. Goodbye.